Chapter 261 Breakthrough, Martial Arts Master. Time passed quickly and it was the next morning. Huang Bin arrived at Su Guofeng's house early in the morning with the agreement. President Huang, it's too early, isn't it? Su Guofeng said in surprise when he saw Huang Bin. Huang Bin coughed lightly. President Su, you are a busy man, I'm just afraid that if I'm late, I'll keep you from going to the office. I think President Su has already told you about the transfer of shares, right? Yes. Su Guofeng nodded. Meng Yao said so. But Mr. Huang, I have to advise you, you may be able to make more money if you continue to hold it in the future. Would you consider it again? Huang Bin hurriedly said, Director Su, I have lost my fighting spirit after failing to make investments in the past 3 years. I just want to sell some money to plan for my retirement. This is the pre-transfer share agreement. Director Su, please take a look. Su Guofeng took the agreement and read it. It was not a share transfer agreement and did not contain much content. President Huang, isn't the liquidated damages too high? Su Guofeng asked. Huang Bin actually wrote 300 million for the liquidated damages. The total value of the shares was only 540 million. Huang Bin, President Su, this is not important, is it? Neither of us should plan to breach the contract. Forget 300 million, 500 million is nothing. Su Guofeng deliberately kept quiet. After a moment of silence, he said, Mr. Huang, you are right. Then, as you wish, the liquidated damages will be 300 million. I can sign it without any problem. Okay. Mr. Su, may I record a video as a record? Huang Bin asked. He didn't want to argue with the Su family in the future. The Su family was very powerful, and he might not be able to win against them. What if Su Guofeng said that the agreement was fake? Okay. Send me a copy of the video later. Su Guofeng nodded. Soon they signed the agreement, and the video was clearly filmed, and the content of the agreement was also filmed at the beginning of the video. Su Don, I wish Xingmeng technology better and better. Huang Bin smiled and shook Su Guofeng's hand. He was relieved when the agreement was signed. The liquidated damages of 300 million yuan were enough to ensure that the transfer would definitely proceed. General Huang, it's getting better and better. You're afraid you'll regret it. Su Guofeng said with a smile. Huang Bin shook his head, no, absolutely not. I have already earned my share of the money. If you earn more, that's your skill. You have a good attitude. Su Guofeng laughed. After a few more idle chats, Huang Bin left satisfied. Less than half an hour after he left, the other shareholder of Stardream Technology arrived, and Su Guofeng signed a contract with him as well. The shares were also transferred at the current valuation. A high compensation was also agreed upon. DD. Su Guofeng dialed Su Mengyao phone number. Lin Chen and Su Mengyao were still sleeping, but Su Mengyao had already woken up and snuggled into Lin Chen's arms. Dad, you called so early, it's just dawn here. Su Mengyao said. Su Guofeng slapped his forehead, I forgot to consider this, it's been a long time since dawn in the demon capital. I'm calling to tell you that Huang Bin and the others have been here. They have a total of 10% of the shares, and the transfer of equity will be carried out within a month at the current valuation. Su Mengyao asked, how much is the liquidated damages set? Su Guofeng, they set the liquidated damages relatively high, one is set at 300 million and the other at 200 million. I persuaded them to continue to hold them, but they were unwilling. Just this matter, you guys go back to sleep. After saying this, Su Guofeng hung up the phone. Su Mengyao said in a sweet voice, honey, let's go back, and these shares will be transferred to your name at that time. Lin Chen, honey, I'm not a shareholder, and it's going to be a lot of trouble to transfer those shares to me. First, transfer the shares to you. There is no difference between having them in your name or in mine. If we prolong the time, something might go wrong. Su Mengyao's eyes showed hesitation, but. Lin Chen kissed Su Mengyao's little mouth, there is no but. Although the shares are yours, you are mine, and in the end they are still mine. Su Mengyao, honey, then I will transfer the shares to you in the future. She was thinking of transferring her part to Lin Chen as well. She currently has 24% of the shares. We'll talk about it later. Lin Chen said, as his hand ran down Su Mengyao's back. Soon Su Mengyao's face turned red. Husband, don't. Su Mengyao said coyly. Lin Chen said sternly, wife, calm down, I'm treating you. You have mental problems. Ordinary medicine doesn't work, so you can undergo desensitization treatment. Su Mengyao. After breakfast, Lin Chen took Lin Xiaoxi to practice Tai Chi. Yesterday, Lin Xiaoxi fell asleep after arriving at the hotel, and in the afternoon, without Lin Chen, she didn't make a breakthrough in Guwu Tai Chi. Unconsciously, more than half an hour passed. The system's voice finally sounded in Lin Chen's mind. Host, you have reached the level of a grandmaster in Guwu Taiji. You can now resist shots from ordinary handguns. Ordinary handguns? System, host, high-powered handguns like the Desert Eagle are about as powerful as an ordinary rifle. You cannot resist shots from such handguns at the moment. Lin Chen gave a faint smile. Pistols like the Desert Eagle are still quite rare. In the Huagua, it is difficult to come across ordinary pistols. His strength has increased and his safety has increased a lot. System, my resistance to poisons has also increased, right? Lin Chen asked in his mind. System, yes, host. You have internal strength, a strong physique, and internal strength. Ordinary poisons can't harm you. You can also last longer with powerful poisons. After practicing for a while, Lin Chen and the others finished. Lin Xiaoqian didn't change much. Lin Chen's Tai Chi has now only reached the Grandmaster level, and he can double Lin Xiaoqian's talent and ability when he reaches the Grandmaster level. Husband, it seems like you've changed a little. Su Mengyao looked at Lin Chen and said. What change? Lin Chen asked with a smile. Su Mengyao pondered, I can't put it into words, I just feel like the Tai Chi you're playing seems to be better than before. Every move has an inexplicable charm. Lin Chen muttered to himself. Su Mengyao has a good talent in martial arts. He has indeed become a bit different since he reached the level of a martial arts master. But the movements haven't changed, so this difference isn't easy to tell. Mengyao is getting older, and her meridians are congested. But I have become a martial arts master, so maybe I can help her unblock her meridians. Lin Chen thought to himself. A child's meridians are very unblocked, and as they get older, the congestion in their meridians will become more and more serious. The difficulty of cultivation will also continue to increase. My dear, that's because my strength has improved a little. Lin Chen smiled and said, sit down, I'll take your pulse. Su Mengyao sat down. Lin Chen placed his finger on Su Mengyao's wrist, and he first took Su Mengyao's pulse. What exactly is the situation? Lin Chen muttered to himself. The low chance of Su Mengyao getting pregnant may just be a superficial phenomenon. What caused her low chance of getting pregnant? System, how far am I from becoming a grandmaster in ancient medical techniques? Lin Chen asked in his mind. System, host, only 6 hours left. Can I help Mengyao dredge her meridians with my current strength? Lin Chen said as he sent a trace of internal strength into Su Mengyao's wrist. The system said, host, unblocking is possible, but with your current strength, you cannot help her expand her meridians. What do you mean? System, unblocking the meridians can return Su Mengyao's talent for cultivation to that of a child, but it will not increase it. Expanding the meridians can make her cultivation easier. Chapter 262, The Situation Inside the Meridians. Lin Chen closed his eyes and used his internal strength to try to remove the impurities that had accumulated in Su Mengyao's wrist meridians. Some of these impurities were ordinary substances. Some were all kinds of messy energy. In the eyes of ordinary people, this energy may not exist, but Lin Chen has internal strength and can sense it. System, these accumulated impurities are difficult to remove. Lin Chen said in his mind. Impurities in the meridians are not like silt in the pipes, which can be easily removed. The meridians are like the inner walls of iron pipes, which have rusted. Many impurities have combined with the meridians, and violent cleaning may destroy the meridians. The system said, host, this is normal. The older you get, the more the meridians will be affected, and the more difficult it will be to recover. Su Mengyao is still young, and her situation is considered good. You should be able to clear the main meridians in half a month. If it were your parents, with your current cultivation level, you would not be able to help them clear the meridians at all. Lin Chen asks, if it's half a month, how much time do I have to spend every day clearing the meridians in Mengyao's body? System, host, at least 5 hours. The main meridians in Su Mengyao's body will take about 80 hours to clear, and if you add the smaller meridians, the workload will increase several times. Lin Chen. System, can you clean up the main meridians while Mengyao is asleep? Yes.
Lin Chen muttered to himself, which was a bit better.
Su Mengyao was very busy, how could she spare 5 hours a day?
Before, he didn't sleep with Su Mengyao at home, but this time, they were sleeping together every night, so he estimated that by the time they went back, Su Mengyao would be used to it. He could clean up her meridians while he slept in her arms.
Honey, what's wrong with me? Su Mengyao looked at Lin Chen with concern and said.
Lin Chen took a long time to take her pulse and looked grave.
It's fine.
Lin Chen withdrew his hand and smiled.
Su Mengyao, honey, there must be something wrong. It usually doesn't take you so long to take someone's pulse. Just tell me, I can handle it.
Lin Chen said, I wasn't just taking your pulse, I was using internal strength to enter your meridians and examine them.
Hasn't my strength increased a little? I can help you clear your meridians.
If I clear them, you can practice martial arts again in the future.
Su Mengyao's heart leapt with joy. Husband, didn't you say that my talent was not as good as Shishi's, and that even if I practiced, it wouldn't have much effect?
Lin Chen, your talent is indeed not as good as Shishi's, but I don't expect you to become very powerful in the future.
You can just beat 3 or 5 men. Su Mengyao's talent is also okay.
If she cleanses her meridians and studies a bit, she can still beat 3 or 5 ordinary men without any problem at all. In this way, her ability to protect herself can be greatly improved.
Dad, you and I will protect Mom.
Lin Xiaoxi said in a baby voice from the side. Her insistence on practicing has a lot to do with this.
Lin Xiaoxi has seen Su Mengyao cry secretly before, and she has also encountered many times when Su Mengyao wakes up from sleep with a start.
She wants to protect her mom.
Well, we'll do it together. Lin Chen stroked Lin Xiaoxi's little head and said, Honey, are we ready to go out? I'll call Chen Lei. Okay. Su Mengyao nodded. 2 hours later, Lin Chen and the others arrived in the wilderness. They arrived at a huge grassland, and the endless grassland gave people a very good visual experience. In many places, small flowers of various colors were still blooming in the grass. It's so beautiful. Lin Xiaoxi got out of the car and ran out. Dad, come chase me.
Su Mengyao smiled and said, Honey, you go and play with Cici for a while. We have plenty of time, so there's no rush to take a photo right away.
Okay. Lin Chen happily ran after her. Cici, do you remember how I taught you to run before? 5 minutes passed.
A system voice sounded in Lin Chen's head. Host, your skill of flying on the grass has begun to improve. When exercising outdoors, Lin Chen occasionally taught Lin Xiaoxi how to run, but didn't spend much time on it. It takes 30 hours to reach the master level, and he has only spent a total of 5 or 6 hours teaching Lin Xiaoxi. There are very beautiful grasslands here, and Lin Xiaoxi is happy to run here, so in the next few days, the skill of flying on the grass is expected to improve a little more. Of course, Lin Chen doesn't push it. If Lin Xiaoxi is happy to run, he will teach her. If not, he will just let it be. Dad, you can't catch me. Dad, there's a butterfly over there. Lin Xiaoqian ran around very cheerfully. Su Mengyao looked at Lin Chen and the others and smiled sweetly. Chen Lei whispered, President Su, there are 2 cars following us. The one that's closer is your bodyguard, right? There's another car in the distance. Su Mengyao turned her head and looked. The car they were driving was a high-end RV, there was a black SUV a few dozen meters away from them, and there was also an off-road vehicle about 300 meters away. It's fine, they're all here to protect us. Su Mengyao said. She knew that the 2 cars were both filled with members of the National Security Bureau. Chen Lei secretly licked his lips, it was really good to be rich. They had come out to take pictures on vacation, but the bodyguards couldn't even fit in one car. Xiao Jun, release a drone. A man in the car in the distance said. The Xiao Jun in his mouth was Cheng Xiaojun, who immediately opened a case and took out a drone when he heard this. They had brought 10 drones in each car, and the cars could recharge the drones, ensuring that most of them were fully charged at all times. The flight radius was 2 kilometers. Search for enemies attacking from a long distance. Cheng Xiaojun put on a pair of smart glasses. 2 kilometers was enough to ensure safety, and it would be very difficult for a sniper to hit Lin Chen and the others beyond that distance. The drone immediately flew out. There are still some cars and tourists within 2 kilometers, and the drone will make a quick judgment as it flies overhead. In the summer, people wear less clothing, and as long as they can't hide long guns on or around their bodies, the drone will immediately determine that they are not a threat. Even if the enemy has a pistol, they won't be able to attack from a distance.
Soon, a photo appeared on the smart glasses worn by Chang Xiaojun.
The person in the photo was carrying a large backpack, but the drone couldn't tell what was in it, so it couldn't make a judgment. This kind of situation requires the operator to make a judgment. If someone pulls out a gun, the drone can immediately make a judgment. Mark it as a suspicious target and continue searching,
Chang Xiaojun said.
The drone immediately marked this person, and after flying in a circle, the drone marked a total of 10 or so people. When they patrol again, the drone will focus on checking them. If the suspicion is reduced, the mark will be removed, and if the suspicion is increased, Chang Xiaojun and the others can manually check.
Captain, Mr. Lin, this drone is really useful, Chang Xiaojun said.
They have used drones before, but they were not as convenient as this one. The drones they used required them to control them. If there was only one drone to control, perhaps the difference would not be great, but with this one, Lin Chen, they can control 1,000 or even 10,000 drones at the same time without any problem.
So we absolutely cannot let anything happen to Mr. Lin.
Chang Xiaojun's captain said sternly, keep a close eye on everything. Deal with any unusual movements as soon as they happen.
Chapter 263, The Dark Web Killer is here. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. During these 3 days, several people approached Su Guofeng to transfer their shares.
None of them held a lot of shares, but together they held 8% of the shares. If someone had asked them to transfer their shares 2 months ago, they would not have agreed, but the situation is different now. First, the valuation has increased in the past 2 months, and the increase in valuation has already fulfilled part of the expectations. Second, competition has intensified. The Tianhe Group is clearly targeting Starry Dream technology, and their chosen track highly overlaps with Starry Dream technology. They will definitely take away some of Starry Dream technology's market. The third point is the changing international situation. The development of Starry Dream technology is closely related to the international situation.
Drip.
Su Guofeng called Su Mengyao.
Dad, what's up? Su Mengyao asked.
They were at another scenic spot taking pictures. On the other end of the line, Su Guofeng laughed and said, I just signed another contract to recover 1% of the shares.
In total, I have recovered 19% of the shares. Su Mingyao's eyes lit up.
She originally had 24% of the shares, and with this 19%, plus the percentage held by the parent company, the Su family, they had come to hold 70% of the shares of Star Dream Technology.
That was a solid majority. Dad, that's about it. Those who haven't transferred their shares are considered more determined. We also have to let some people follow us in making a profit, Su Mengyao said.
With the shares reaching this point, it doesn't matter much to them whether it's more or less. Letting some people follow and making a profit can show everyone very well that the Su family isn't trying to hog all the profits. Those who got off the bus early just didn't have the foresight. Next time if anyone else comes to me, unless they really want to sell their shares, I'll try to persuade them to stay,
Su Guofeng said. Su Mengyao asked, Dad, is there anything else? Lin Chen and I are taking wedding photos right now. No, nothing. Su Guofeng quickly hung up the phone.
Su Mengyao looked at Lin Chen, who had just got out of the RV. They were taking Chinese-style photos at the moment, with Lin Chen dressed as a knight-errant and Su Mengyao dressed as a Jianghu beauty.
Su Mengyao's appearance naturally held up.
Lin Chen's appearance was slightly lower, but Lin Chen had an air of authority about him, as if he really was a wandering hero. He is a martial arts master, and he is acting in character.
Mr. Lin, President Su, this set is amazing.
Your appearance and temperament, if put in a martial arts TV series, you would definitely be the male lead and female lead,
Chen Lei exclaimed in admiration.
Hubby, you really chose the right outfit, you and this ancient costume really match,
Su Mengyao said. Their clothes were chosen by Lin Chen. For the wedding photos, they had to change into 3 or 4 outfits every day. Mom and Dad. Soon, Lin Xiaoqian also came out of the caravan. She was also wearing ancient costume, which looked very cute. Lin Xiaoqian took some of Lin Chen's wedding photos with them, and some without. Cici, come here. Lin Chen crouched down and smiled.
He picked up Lin Xiaoqian in his right arm, and embraced Su Mengyao in his left arm. Su Mengyao and Lin Xiaoqian both smiled sweetly.
Click. Chen Lei snapped photos one after the other. He was full of envy. Lin Chen was the winner in life.
His daughter was so cute, and his wife was so beautiful.
What's more, Lin Chen and his family were very rich.
A few kilometers away, an off-road vehicle was speeding forward. The car is occupied by a man in his 30s, whose expression seems a little stiff and unnatural.
He is a hitman. He came here today because he received a mission on the dark web.
The target of the mission is to assassinate Lin Chen.
He can get a reward of $500,000 for completing the mission. This price is not very high but not low either. Generally, a hitman is not qualified to take this mission. He is a second-level hitman and meets the conditions to take the mission. It just so happens that he is not very far away in Xinjiang. He is not very confident about killing Lin Chen in the city of Xinjiang. There are too many police, and the chances of him getting away with murder are low. But in the wilderness, he is confident he can escape. The scenic spot where Lin Chen and the others are now located is very close to the forest. If he sneaks into the forest, who can find him? 4 kilometers, 3 kilometers.
There are some cars parked by the roadside, and the killer slows down his speed. His behavior is no different from that of the other tourists.
As if attracted by the beautiful scenery on both sides of the road.
Gradually, the killer was only 2 kilometers away from Lin Chen and the others. He used binoculars to see Lin Chen and the others.
A hero?
No matter how high your martial arts are, it's just a matter of one bullet. The killer muttered to himself.
He continued driving. 2 kilometers was too far.
The sniper rifle he brought could shoot that far, but the chance of a single shot being a hit at such a distance was very low. According to the information he had obtained, Lin Chen and the others had bodyguards around them.
He might only have one shot.
A drone flew across the sky. The killer didn't care, as people often took aerial photos of scenic spots, which was not a rare thing in China. The drone captured the killer through the windshield, but his gun was hidden and not captured, so the drone did not directly mark him as a red target. However, the drone still marked him as a yellow suspicious target. His photo was transmitted to Cheng Xiaojun's smart glasses.
Cheng Xiaojun took a closer look.
This person's passenger seat was empty, a solo rider, which meant the chance of something being wrong was much higher. There were quite a few people who traveled alone by car, but most people would still choose to go with family and friends.
A few minutes passed and the drone flew over again.
It was only a 2-kilometer radius, and the drone made the circle quickly. After all, there were many unmanned places here that did not need attention.
The drone has spotted the car again. Cheng Xiaojun is on high alert. The car is only 1,000 meters away.
This is already within the precise killing range of a sniper rifle.
Moreover, the location where the other party has parked is very convenient for escaping into the forest. Angkor, 3 o'clock direction, about 900 meters away, a black SUV that just arrived. Pay attention. Cheng Xiaojun reminded him over the earpiece.
Okay. A calm voice came over his earpiece. The Wugu in his ear was now holding the sniper rifle, and soon Wugu aimed the scope at the target vehicle. But the target vehicle had privacy film on it, and he couldn't see inside.
Xiaojun, I can't see. You need to control the drone to get closer and inspect it. Wugu replied to Cheng Xiaojun.
Okay. Cheng Xiaojun controlled the drone to lower its altitude, while the killer in the car was quickly assembling the sniper rifle.
DD.
The drone's high-definition lens saw the sniper rifle, and it marked the target in red as soon as possible. And there was also a hurried voice to remind Cheng Xiaojun.
Attention everyone, enemy spotted.
The enemy is carrying a sniper rifle.
Cheng Xiaojun alerted the rest as quickly as possible. Chapter 264, the killer was captured alive. Lu Feng and the others' faces paled.
The enemy was carrying a sniper rifle, so it was likely a professional killer.
Mr. Lin, you must hide immediately. Lu Feng opened the car window and shouted to Lin Chen.
Lin Chen was already holding Lin Xiaoqian at this time, so he bent down and picked up Su Mengyao, before quickly hiding behind the car. Their RV was parked in a relatively elegant manner, with enemies possible from only one direction, and the other direction being very open.
If enemies came from this side, they would definitely be spotted. Damn it!
The killer cursed in his heart. The drone lowered its altitude and approached his car, and he sensed that something was wrong. However, he quickly assembled his sniper rifle. But before he could shoot, Lin Chen hid. Even if he shot in this situation, the chance of killing Lin Chen was very low.
Boom!
He slammed on the gas and the killer quickly sped away. Since there was no longer a chance, he would not force a shot, and he felt that Lin Chen and Su Mengyao's bodyguards would not chase after him. For the bodyguards, protecting their employer was the most important thing.
The enemy escaped. Chang Xiaojun ordered, "Release more drones immediately."
The two people in the car with him released 2 drones at top speed. These drones were not installed in a box, and if there was a situation, they could be released by taking them outside the car. The 2 drones chased after them at top speed. The first drone followed the car driven by the killer closely. The killer drove towards the mountains. He needed to use the mountains to escape. There were still other tourists in the mountains. Even if the drone had infrared capabilities, how could it track a target if there were multiple drones? Soon there was no road in front of the killer. The killer quickly got out of the car with his gun. As long as he was given a little time, he could enter the forest, and the drone could continue to track him and be shot down with the gun.
Bang!
The drone above the killer's head crashes as soon as he gets out of the car. He smashes the flying drone with the butt of his rifle.
The anesthetic inside the drone spreads instantly. Oh no!
The killer's face changes.
The anesthetic deployed by Lin Chen has a smell.
The killer doesn't know what is emitted from the drone, but he knows that it is definitely not something good. Within a few seconds, the killer feels his body go numb. He loses the feeling in his hands and the sniper rifle falls to the ground.
It's over.
This thought flashed through the killer's mind, and soon he felt no sensation in his legs and collapsed to the ground.
Boom!
The other 2 drones arrived.
At the same time, Chang Xiaojun and the others released 4 more drones, which entered defense mode and searched for the enemy. There was a high probability that there was only one enemy, but what if there was more? Quick, let's go over there.
The car with Chang Xiaojun and the others quickly drew near, and in just a little over a kilometer, they quickly arrived next to the killer. Chang Xiaojun and the other man kept watch, while the third man got out of the car with handcuffs and cuffed the killer.
The guy was wearing a hood.
Chang Xiaojun ripped off the fake hood the other man was wearing, and the real face of the other man looked quite different from what it had just looked like. If he had escaped and removed the hood, it would have been difficult for Chang Xiaojun and the others to recognize him even if he walked past them.
Brother Lu, we've captured the target. There were no other enemies on your side, right? Chang Xiaojun reported using the station walkie-talkie.
The other team, Lu Feng and the others let out a sigh of relief. Lu Feng said, "We haven't found the rest of the killers for now.
Xiaojun, you guys make sure to check that he doesn't kill himself later."
Okay.
Chang Xiaojun and the others quickly took the man away.
They checked the killer's teeth. Lu Feng got out of the car and went to Lin Chen's side and said, "Mr. Lin, it was a false alarm, you can continue filming."
He said this so as not to scare Su Mengyao and Lin Xiaoxi.
Lin Chen gave Lu Feng a deep look. He had just used internal strength to enhance his hearing, and he could hear Lu Feng and Chang Xiaojun's conversation clearly.
"Let's continue filming, my dear,"
Lin Chen said with a smile. Although there were assassins, it didn't scare him. He still had the mental strength to enhance his strength.
"Lu Feng, are you really okay?" Su Mengyao asked.
Lu Feng nodded. "President Su, really nothing happened. We found that someone might be a problem, but it turned out to be a false alarm."
He did not persuade Lin Chen and the others to leave. This doesn't make much sense.
If there are still assassins in the dark planning to shoot Lin Chen, the opponent will still strike whether Lin Chen is here or somewhere else.
"Honey, let's continue,"
Lin Chen said with a smile. Soon they continued taking photos. Half an hour later, the assassin who had been captured woke up and found that his feet were tied and his hands were cuffed. His face looked terrible.
Fujiwara, nicknamed Vulture. A second-level assassin in the dark web Sakura killer organization. Am I right?
Sui, the captain of Chang Xiaojun's team, said. While the assassin was unconscious, they reported the situation here, and the National Security Agency found out the identity of this assassin.
Fujiwara's eyebrows were knitted. "You are not ordinary bodyguards. How would a normal bodyguard have an anesthetic on a drone?
And the anesthetic he breathed in was very strong.
And how would a normal bodyguard know his identity? Fujiwara, do you have any more companions?"
"I hope you answer truthfully,"
Sui asked with a smile. Fujiwara sneered. "Do you want me to tell you? Don't even dream of it. If you want to know if there are any of you, go and find out for yourself." Chang Xiaojun and the other man looked at Fujiwara sympathetically. Their captain was the living hell. Seal his mouth.
Sui smiled, and Chang Xiaojun and the others immediately used tape to seal Fujiwara's mouth.
And they pressed Fujiwara from the left and right, so that even if Fujiwara wanted to move, it wasn't easy. Fujiwara, you're a killer, and you're not even Chinese. You don't think we'll interrogate you slowly, do you? Sui said with a smile. He grabbed Fujiwara's left hand, then he took a toothpick and stabbed it into the nail of Fujiwara's left index finger. Fujiwara's eyes rolled back in pain. But he couldn't scream. He was tightly held by Chang Xiaojun and couldn't break free. Fujiwara, I quite like it when you don't say anything. You'd better keep it up. Sui said with a smile. He stabbed slowly, and while he stabbed in, he kept turning the toothpick, which brought even more pain to Fujiwara. After stabbing in 1 centimeter, Sui pulled out the blood-stained toothpick, then moved a little to the right and continued stabbing in. Fujiwara, in my experience, there is no problem with stabbing a finger 3 times, you can stab your thumb 4 times, and you can stab all 10 fingers together a total of 32 times. And there are the toes.
Sui said with a smile, it's still early, let's take our time.
Fujiwara no was in agony.
He was a killer, trained to kill. But he hadn't been trained to endure such pain.
Ugh, ugh. Fujiwara no nodded as he screamed. Sui, is that all you've got to say? Fujiwara no nodded repeatedly.
Sui shook his head, this is really boring. I thought you were a tough guy, but you chickened out at the first sign of pain.
Sui said this and stabbed the toothpick in again. Fujiwara no's body trembled with pain.
After a while, Chang Xiaowei pulled off the tape.
Fujiwara no endured the pain and angrily yelled, didn't I just mean to say it? What do you mean by stabbing me with a toothpick?
Sui shrugged his shoulders and said, my hand slipped.
Chapter 265, Who are you looking down on? Fujiwara Yano's mouth twitched. Couldn't you find a better reason?
Brother Su, he doesn't seem convinced. I'll seal his mouth again.
You continue to torture him? Chang Xiaojun asked. Fujiwara Yano's face changed. You are official personnel of the Huagua country, right? How can you do this kind of lynching? In your country, this should be illegal.
Sui laughed. Ordinary measures are used against ordinary people, and special measures are used against people like you.
I still have a lot of skills to show. Why don't you come back with us and find out? Fujiwara. Sui's smile suddenly faded. Tell me, do you have any accomplices? How did you take on this mission? Do you know who the bounty is for? Fujiwara, I acted alone. I took on the mission on the dark web. I don't know who the bounty is for. How much is the bounty? Sui asked. Fujiwara replied, $500,000.
I took the task because I thought the reward was not bad.
Sui shook his head, $500,000 is nothing. Do you look down on Mr. Lin or do you look down on us?
Fujiwara, if you lie to me, you will definitely enjoy it very much when the time comes.
Fujiwara hurriedly said,
I'm not lying, and this is not important information, so I don't need to lie.
Sui stared at Fujiwara.
He had studied psychology, micro-expression science, etc., and he could tell that Fujiwara was not lying.
What is the deadline for your task? Sui asked.
If Fujiwara does not complete the task within the deadline, the task will likely be reposted, and the publisher may even increase the reward.
The deadline is 1 week.
Fujiwara said, I accepted the task the afternoon before yesterday, and the task is due at 3 p.m. on the 24th.
Sui, do you have anything to add? Fujiwara shook his head.
Sui said indifferently, think carefully. If something happens to Mr. Lin, you will die, and before you die, you will definitely suffer a little pain.
People like you will never get a fair trial. Fujiwara's face looked terrible.
If the person offering the reward continues to offer it, there will definitely be even more powerful killers targeting Lin Chen. He felt that the chances of Lin Chen surviving should be very, very low.
He will not have a good outcome.
I suggest that you hide Lin Chen in a safe base, so that he will not have any problems.
Otherwise, he will definitely die. Fujiwara said with a deep breath.
An hour later, Lin Chen and the others finished taking pictures, and Sui and the other 2 cars protected Lin Chen and the others as they left, 1 car in front of the other.
Wife, is this all the wedding photos we'll take? Let's go around and have some fun for the next few days. Lin Chen asked.
Su Mengyao nodded. Sure, we've already taken a lot of pictures, and we'll probably have a hard time choosing which ones to use. She looked at Chen Lei as she said this. Chen Lei hurriedly said, President Su, we will hurry up and work overtime to get your wedding photos done. We will deliver the photos to you in half a month at the most. Su Mengyao nodded. Back at the hotel, Su Mengyao and the others were safe, and Lin Chen approached Su Yi and the others. He met Fujiwara. Mr. Lin, he is a second-level killer named Fujiwara. Someone has posted a $500,000 bounty on the dark web to kill you. The mission has a time limit of 117 hours. When the time limit is reached, another killer will likely take over the mission. Sui said to Lin Chen. Lin Chen looked at Fujiwara. Is he from the East Sakura country? Sui nodded, yes. There are many killer organizations on the dark web, and he is a member of the Sakura Killer Organization. There are 5 levels of Sakura killers, namely entry level, level 3, level 2, level 1, and special class killers. The threshold for a level 1 killer is $1 million, and for a special class killer, the threshold is $5 million. Lin Chen looked at Sui and smiled. Team leader Su, they look down on you, and they have only arranged for a level 2 killer. Sui. Mr. Lin, they may also look down on you. Fujiwara Yano had a dark face. Are second-class killers really that unpresentable? Lin Chen said, Captain Su, don't you know the person offering the reward? Well. The other party placed the order anonymously on the dark web. Killer organizations generally have very strong network defense capabilities. Even if you hack into the back end of the Cherry Blossom organization, it would be very difficult to find out who the rewarder is. Most likely, the other party is using an anonymous bank card. Sui explained. Lin Chen nodded slightly. Captain Su, do you have any countermeasures? We can't just sit back and take it, can we? Sui, we have reported the news, and the measures taken by the higher-ups will most likely be to put pressure on the Cherry Blossoms. We will force the Cherry Blossoms to cancel this mission. Lin Chen asked, how will pressure be exerted? Sui said, we have many network experts, and we can send many of them out to attack their network. They are in business, and they know that we are powerful, so they will most likely give up this business. Lin Chen nodded slightly. The Sakura Killer Organization definitely has network experts, but compared to a country, Sakura's network experts are nothing. If the network experts of the Chinese country keep an eye on them at all times, the business of the Sakura organization will definitely be greatly affected. The person behind the scenes is still unknown. Lin Chen said. Sui nodded. Unless the person behind the scenes is very stupid and uses a registered bank card to place an order, it will be difficult to investigate. There are many anonymous bank cards in the world. However, we will investigate from other channels. Paper cannot cover up the fire. Lin Chen sighed inwardly, and it is not easy to investigate from other channels either. There are quite a few people who want to get rid of him. Although the Wu and Zhao families have a grudge against him, it is unlikely that they would have the guts to kill him. Song Shirkan might if he knew about the Wilsum forces in the United States and the Eastern Cherry Blossom country are possible. He sold the drone to the Camel country, and there may also be people in the Camel country who want to kill him. Mr. Lin, why don't you go to a safe base when the time comes? This way, your life will be safe. Sui suggested. Lin Chen shook his head. It's no fun hiding like this. You guys don't move for now, and pressure Sakura Group again in a few days. We'll go back then. Sui nodded. Okay, Mr. Lin. No one knows that Fujiwara was captured, so no new assassins should come for now. We'll also pay attention to the dark web, and if there's another mission like this, we'll deal with it first. Lin Chen nodded. He looked at Fujiwara's hand. Captain Su, his hand is injured. Did you disinfect it? No. Sui was puzzled. Wouldn't it be a waste to disinfect Fujiwara? A small wound like this won't kill someone. Lin Chen, it's better to disinfect it for him. Salt has a good disinfectant effect, you can arrange it for him. In the future, when you prick his finger again, it's best to dip it in salt. This way, disinfection can be done at the same time. Fujiwara. Chapter 266, Intrusion on the Sakura Organization website. Sui nodded. That is indeed a good method. Mr. Lin, you are a good doctor, so you should listen to the professionals on this matter. Fujiwara Yano shouted with a pale face. I have told you everything, what else do you want? Lin Chen looked at Fujiwara Yano in surprise and said, You tried to kill me but failed, and you are just giving an account.
Do you think this matter will just pass like that?
Fujiwara, Lin Chen, your country is a country of etiquette and the rule of law.
You can't do this. Lin Chen laughed. Etiquette is for people. We have other means to deal with animals.
Fujiwara suddenly yelled, "Help, help!" Cheng Xiaojun immediately taped his mouth shut again. Lin Chen said to Sui, "Su, he is still uneducated.
Continue to educate him well.
You might get unexpected results if you educate him well."
Sui nodded. Lin Chen stood up. I'll go back first, and don't let Meng Yao know about what happened today.
Okay.
Lin Chen left and went to the room across the hall. Honey, is everything okay? Su Mengyao asked.
Lin Chen shook his head and said, "Nothing much. They found someone with a gun during the day, but they later determined that it was just a toy gun used by children.
It was a false alarm."
Where's Cece?
Su Mengyao said, "She didn't sleep during the day.
After I gave her a bath, she fell asleep before I finished telling her a story."
Lin Chen went to the bedroom and took a look.
Lin Xiaoxi was sleeping soundly.
Honey, let's hurry up and get some sleep too, Lin Chen said with a smile. Su Mengyao nodded.
They had slept together for the past 3 nights, and Su Mengyao gradually got used to it. Half an hour later, Lin Chen and the others all went to bed. After a day of sightseeing and taking photos, Su Mengyao was also tired, and she fell asleep while chatting with Lin Chen.
Lin Chen's hand was pressed against Su Menyao's back. A trace of internal strength entered Su Menyao's body.
Every night for the past 3 days, Lin Chen had helped Su Mengyao dredge her meridians.
Gradually, it was midnight. Lin Chen's face showed signs of fatigue. Using internal strength to unblock someone's meridians is very troublesome. One needs to be highly concentrated. The slightest mistake could cause damage to Su Menyao's meridians.
Slowly getting up, Lin Chen went to the small living room outside the bedroom.
A laptop appeared in his hands. Cherry Blossom Organization?
Lin Chen muttered to himself. After his hacking skills reached the Grandmaster level, Lin Xiaoxi didn't play games as much, but she still played a little. His hacking level has still grown quite a bit. There are probably no more than a handful of people in the world whose hacking skills surpass his.
Soon Lin Chen entered the dark web. The dark web is a larger, more complex, and more terrifying network outside the online world that ordinary people know.
The evils of human nature are fully reflected in this world. Not to mention the countless large and small killer organizations on the dark web. Every day many people around the world have their lives taken by killers who take orders from the dark web.
A low-level task can cost hundreds of dollars. But it can buy a person's life. It didn't take long for Lin Chen to find the Sakura organization's website. The homepage of the Sakura organization is very beautiful.
Cherry blossom trees are in bloom, and cherry blossom petals are scattered on the ground.
Even if an ordinary person accidentally enters here, they won't know that this is a killer organization. Lin Chen quickly carried out the invasion operation.
The Sakura organization's network defense capabilities are very strong, but they are not strong enough to withstand his. Other experts may not be able to hack in, but Lin Chen's knowledge is very comprehensive, and he quickly figured out the defensive measures used by the Cherry Blossom organization.
Interesting. It even contains knowledge of the 5 elements and the 8 trigrams.
Lin Chen muttered to himself. After spending 10 minutes hacking in without making a sound, Lin Chen first found his reward, which showed that it had been claimed.
The person who claimed it was Fujiwara no. This task has been viewed by hundreds of assassins. Lin Chen quickly tapped on the keyboard.
He continued his investigation. Unfortunately, through the Sakura organization, it was determined that it was impossible to directly find out who was behind the bounty.
The person behind it did use an anonymous bank card. Lin Chen was not surprised by this. How could someone who doesn't even have this level of precaution still play around with assassinations? Even if he couldn't find out, he still had to guard against the Sakura organization. If the Sakura organization found out, would they be blackmailed? Oof. Lin Chen snorted. He silently copied the information on the Cherry Blossom organization.
He copied a copy of all the information on the assassins of the Cherry Blossom organization. He also copied what kind of missions these assassins had carried out.
But that wasn't all.
Lin Chen continued his investigation, and he investigated the Cherry Blossom organization to the bottom. He found out where the Cherry Blossom organization's server was and who the organization's behind-the-scenes boss was. The National Security Agency should be able to exert pressure at that time. But he couldn't pin his hopes on others.
If the national security forces succeed in exerting pressure, he won't have to intervene.
If the pressure fails and the Cherry Blossom organization continues its operations, the information he has obtained in advance can come in handy.
It's settled.
After 2 hours of busy work, Lin Chen's face revealed a faint smile. He cleaned up all traces and retreated.
2 more days passed.
Chen Lei and the others stopped taking pictures, and Lin Chen and the others relaxed and played.
The scenery here in Yili is very beautiful.
Oops. Lin Xiaoxian suddenly let out a cry of pain.
Lin Chen quickly went to Lin Xiaoqian's side, and Lin Xiaoqian collapsed on the grass.
She was hugging her own calf and her face showed pain.
Dad, it hurts. Tears were glistening in Lin Xiaoxi's eyes. Su Mengyao also arrived nearby, and she anxiously said, "Cici, what's wrong?"
Mom, my foot hurts. Lin Chen quickly examined her and said, Cici twisted her foot.
"Cici, it's very flat here, how did you twist your foot?" Lin Xiaoxi said with a grievance, "Dad, I don't know." "Dad, will my foot break?" Lin Chen smiled, "Of course not. How could your foot break when it's just sprained?" "Honey, is there really no problem?"
I can see that she still feels a lot of pain.
Su Mengyao asked.
Lin Chen, there's no problem, it's just a mild sprain, and it should recover normally in about 2 weeks, but I'll give Shishi treatment, and she should be able to recover in 2 days.
That's good. Su Mengyao let out a sigh of relief. "Honey, shall we go back then?"
Lin Xiaoqian hurriedly said, Mom, I still want to play here.
It's so much fun here.
Lin Chen laughed and said, Honey, since Xiaoqian wants to continue playing, let's stick to the original plan and play for another 2 days.
I can carry her and give her treatment at the same time.
She'll be fine by the time she goes home.
Su Mengyao nodded.
Lin Chen could carry her and Lin Xiaoqian up Mount Tai, and there was no problem carrying Lin Xiaoqian on flat ground. Lin Xiaoqian, Dad will apply some medicine to you first. Lin Chen brought some medicine with him, and after applying the medicine to Lin Xiaoqian, he held her and slowly massaged her.
Host, your ancient medical skills have begun to improve.
The system voice sounded in Lin Chen's mind.
Lin Chen's ancient medical skills are only 6 hours away from being a grandmaster. This wave of treatment for Lin Xiaoqian will definitely be able to go up.
Chapter 267, 2 major skills improved.
In the blink of an eye, it was the next day.
Lin Chen and the others were camping in a place with beautiful scenery. Lin Xiaoqian sat and drew.
Dad, I can't draw.
It's so beautiful here, but what I draw isn't as good looking. Lin Xiaoqian said in a muffled voice. What she drew was already pretty good, but compared to the beautiful scenery in front of her, what she drew was indeed still much worse.
Lin Chen said gently, Cici, don't worry. You're still very young, so it's normal that what you've drawn isn't as good as it could be. You're much better than I was at your age. Let me teach you how to draw better. Lin Xiaoqian nodded. Lin Chen patiently taught her.
Next to them, Su Mengyao sipped her tea and looked at them. In the past, she had worried about Lin Xiaoqian's education, but now she didn't care at all. Lin Chen had done a great job.
Half an hour passed.
A system voice suddenly sounded in Lin Chen's head, Host, your drawing skills have reached the mythical level. A massive amount of information quickly flooded into Lin Chen's mind, and Lin Chen's drawing skills were upgraded from legendary to mythical. This became his 3rd mythical skill. The first 2 were fairy tales and cooking. As Lin Chen's drawing skills improved, Lin Xiaoxi's drawing talent also rapidly increased. Her raw talent for drawing, which was in the low 30s, tripled to reach mythical level.
Dad, I think I understand.
Lin Xiaoxi said in a daze. Lin Chen's face beamed with a smile.
Even if Lin Xiaoxi's drawing talent did not reach 130, it was close. This talent is almost the same as her current talent in mathematics.
However, his mathematical skills are still only legendary, and Lin Xiaoqian's talent in mathematics can still be improved in the future.
Cici, what did you understand? Lin Chen asked with a smile. Dad, I know how to draw.
Lin Xiaoqian said happily, and she quickly started drawing.
Drawing is also a talent-intensive thing.
Lin Xiaoqian's original talent was in the 90s, which was also very high, but it was much lower than the current close to 130.
Honey, Cici is.
Su Mengyao asked curiously as she arrived next to her.
Lin Xiaoxi took a new piece of paper and drew on it.
She drew even faster and the things she drew were obviously much better.
Lin Chen smiled and said, Cici has understood.
Her talent for drawing has been greatly discovered by me again.
Her talent for mathematics and drawing is now very high. How high? Su Mengyao asked. Top in the world.
Lin Chen said, and he was underestimating it. In reality, Lin Xiaoxi's talent in both areas had already exploded the charts. It was unlikely that someone would have such a high level of talent in 100 years. Su Mengyao's eyes revealed a look of joy. Honey, it seems that in these two areas, Shishi has completely inherited your talent, and fortunately not mine. Lin Chen put his arm around Su Mengyao and said with a smile, Shishi has inherited your looks, and that's enough.
Su Mengyao said in a dejected voice, Honey, am I really stupid? Apart from this face that my parents gave me, I don't have any merits.
Lin Chen shook his head.
How could that be?
Your piano skills are very good, not many people can reach that high level, and you have strong business skills.
The Su Group has grown by 2 to 300 billion yuan under your hands. Lin Chen said.
If he hadn't been lucky enough to obtain the system, he would be in heaven compared to Su Mengyao, and she would be in hell. He had no right to look down on Su Mengyao.
Honey, I can't understand the question she is doing now.
Su Mengyao said with a little sadness.
Lin Chen laughed and said, That's normal.
You might have been able to understand them in high school, but you've graduated from college, and you've forgotten some of the knowledge you learned. Most parents can still teach their children when they're in elementary school, but they basically give up by the time they reach junior high school, and by the time they reach high school, they can only manage their children's lives.
Su Mengyao pouted. That's exactly the kind of parent I am.
Lin Chen hugged Su Mengyao and kissed her, saying, Honey, let me handle teaching Shishi.
You take care of the rest. Su Mengyao asked doubtfully, What do I take care of?
Lin Chen leaned closer to Su Mengyao's ear and said, Honey, you take care of having another baby.
Our genes are so good, it would be a waste not to have another one. Su Mengyao's pretty face turned slightly red.
She also wants to have another one. Honey, Shishi's drawing skills have improved a lot now.
Su Mengyao looked at Lin Xiaoxi and exclaimed in admiration.
Lin Chen nodded. Painting is very talent intensive. A person with high talent can easily achieve a level that ordinary people can't reach in a lifetime just by casually drawing.
Cece's current talent in painting is not inferior to anyone else's. Su Mengyao shook her head, I don't think so. No matter how talented Cece is, she should still be inferior to you.
Lin Chen muttered to himself, he's different.
He's a genius.
Dad, I don't know how to draw anymore, teach me.
Lin Xiaoqian looked up at Lin Chen and said.
She was very talented, but she still needed to learn.
Unlike Lin Chen, whose talent system was directly arranged in place. Okay, Dad will teach you.
Lin Chen sat next to Lin Xiaoqian and smiled. Unconsciously, Lin Xiaoqian finished drawing. Su Mengyao was amazed. She absolutely would not believe that this was drawn by a child under 3 years old if she didn't see it with her own eyes.
Dad, I want to draw another picture.
Lin Xiaoqian said.
Lin Chen asked, Why do you want to draw another picture?
Lin Xiaoqian said in a baby voice, Dad, Grandpa and Grandma aren't here, and neither are Grandpa and Grandma.
This place is so beautiful, I want to draw it and give it to them. Lin Chen's eyes lit up. Cece, that's a very good idea. Dad supports you, so let's continue drawing. Lin Xiaoqian nodded and started drawing again. That night, Lin Xiaoxi fell asleep. Lin Chen and Su Mengyao looked at the stars outside the tent.
Without the light pollution from the city, the starry sky here was very beautiful.
Hubby, it's less than a month until our wedding, which guests should we invite? Su Mengyao asked, snuggling into Lin Chen's arms. Lin Chen said, This is a problem that's been giving me a headache.
People like Yu Heian and Yi Hong, we say we're close, but we've only known each other for such a short time.
Would it be presumptuous to send them invitations? If we don't send them invitations, some of them might want to go anyway.
John Lao and the others are closer, but they are all in their 70s and 80s, and the wedding will be held in their hometown, so it will be a lot of trouble for them to travel there. As for Li and Zhang, who are friends from the imperial capital, they are highly placed and powerful, so whether or not to invite them is also a difficult decision.
Su Mengyao, honey, you really are in a dilemma.
Lin Chen said helplessly, When we go back, we'll take your parents back to their hometown and discuss it then.
The next day, Lin Chen and the others continued their sightseeing.
Lin Chen spent a lot of time holding Lin Xiaoxi, and while he was holding her, he gave her a massage. In the evening, a system voice sounded in Lin Chen's mind, Host, your ancient medical skills have been upgraded to the level of Grandmaster. A massive amount of ancient medical knowledge flooded into Lin Chen's mind. Lin Xiaoxi's talent in this area also improved, but she didn't feel much from the weak improvement in her talent in medicine.
Finally, it was upgraded.
Ancient medical skills have been upgraded to the level of Grandmaster.
I wonder if I can check out what's wrong with Meng Yao.
Lin Chen thought to himself.
Chapter 268, Su Mengyao's Condition. In the evening, Lin Chen and the others returned to the city.
The tour was over, and they would return to the Magic City the next day.
The day after tomorrow, they would go to Lin Chen's hometown with Su Guofeng and the others.
Cici, try walking on your own. Lin Chen put Lin Xiaoqian on the ground and smiled. Lin Xiaoqian slowly got up and soon she said happily, "Dad, my feet don't hurt anymore."
Su Mengyao let out a sigh of relief. Cici, are you sure it doesn't hurt anymore?
If it still hurts, you should walk less.
Su Mengyao asked. Lin Xiaoxi, Mom, I don't hurt anymore. Mom, look at me, I can even run. She said and ran around the room. Honey, Cici is.
Su Mengyao looked at Lin Chen with some worry. Not yet completely recovered, Lin Xiaoxi's injury would be aggravated by running like that. Lin Chen laughed and said, "Don't worry, I knew that this was likely to happen, so I didn't let her come down until she was completely better."
That's good. Su Mengyao let out a sigh of relief. Cici, stop running, Mommy will give you a bath. 2 hours passed.
Lin Xiaoxi had fallen asleep long ago, and Su Mengyao had also fallen asleep. Lin Chen placed his finger on Su Mengyao's wrist and carefully took her pulse. He is a grandmaster in both ancient and Western medicine, and by combining the two, his medical skills have reached the pinnacle of the world.
What exactly is this pulse?
Lin Chen muttered to himself. He reached over and placed his hand on the wrist of Su Mengyao's other hand.
The pulse of the two hands will be somewhat different.
Combining the pulse of both hands can make a more accurate diagnosis.
Inadequate development from birth?
Combined with Yang Qingyue's illness, he gradually came to a judgment in his heart.
Su Mengyao is not technically ill.
Lin Chen guessed that she might have been prematurely born that year.
Coupled with Yang Qingyue's own illnesses, Su Mengyao was born with some congenital deficiencies. Being born with congenital deficiencies is troublesome.
Lin Chen thought to himself. If Su Mengyao was ill, he would be easier to treat, but with congenital deficiencies, he would have to find a way to slowly make up for them. It is more troublesome to supplement one's innate abilities after birth. When my ancient medical skills reach the legendary level, or my martial arts improve, perhaps I can allow Mengyao to quickly make up for her innate deficiencies. Lin Chen pondered in his heart. Ancient medical skills reaching the legendary level is needless to say, and when he reaches that level, his use of medicine will be peerless. If his martial arts improve to the level of Grandmaster, he can allow Su Mengyao's meridians to expand, and with her practicing more in various tonic medicines, she can also make up for her innate deficiencies.
Until then, Su Mengyao's chances of getting pregnant are still low.
Lin Chen froze for a moment.
Chances of getting pregnant are low? This seems not a bad thing. He can also save some money on buying Smurfs. And the low chance of pregnancy is not completely non-existent.
He is strong and energetic, and in the end, if the worst comes to the worst, he can just fire more shells, and there will always be a hit.
Phew! Lin Chen let out a sigh of relief.
A smile appeared on his face. He was afraid that Su Mengyao would be diagnosed with a terminal illness, and even if he reached the level of Grandmaster, some illnesses might not be curable. If Su Mengyao was born with a congenital deficiency, she would be fine in the short term.
In the long term, it might affect Su Mengyao's lifespan.
But by that time, his medical skills would have improved, and his martial arts would have improved as well, and he would have definitely made up for Su Mengyao's congenital deficiency. Continue to dredge the meridians.
Lin Chen placed his palm on Su Mengyao's abdomen.
Some of Su Mengyao's back meridians had been unblocked, and Lin Chen began to unblock some of the front meridians. It was easier for him to control his internal strength with his palm close.
In the blink of an eye, it was the next day. Husband.
Su Mengyao woke up and called softly. Her face was slightly red as she realized that Lin Chen had slept holding her last night. Hugging had already happened a long time ago. But sleeping like this for a whole night was a first.
What's wrong?
Lin Chen smiled and said.
Honey, let go of me.
Su Mengyao cooed, and as she spoke, she twisted her body a little. Suddenly, her body stiffened and her face turned even redder. She had touched something.
Cough.
Lin Chen quickly let go of Su Mengyao. Honey, as soon as I woke up, I found that I was hugging you.
I sleep very honestly. I guess it was you who took the initiative to throw yourself at me. Su Mengyao.
She gave Lin Chen a wide-eyed glance. Nonsense. You're taking advantage of the situation and still complaining. You must have taken the initiative to hug me.
I'll take the initiative.
It's only natural for me to hug my wife.
Lin Chen laughed. Su Mengyao blushed and said, hurry up and get up. Although it's your own plane, there are time requirements. Lin Chen, wife, let me ask you a question. Were you a premature baby?
Yes.
Su Mengyao nodded.
My mother said that she was sick at that time, and I was born at 8 months. I stayed in the incubator for a long time, and my parents almost didn't think I would grow up.
Lin Chen said, that explains it.
You were born prematurely, and with your mother being sick at that time, you were born with congenital deficiencies, and the chance of pregnancy was much lower. Su Mengyao's face changed slightly.
Husband, do you know what disease I have?
Lin Chen nodded. You don't have a disease, you were born with a deficiency, which is a big problem for others and can affect longevity, but you don't need to worry.
Affect longevity? Su Mengyao said in surprise.
Lin Chen, if someone else is in your situation, they would most likely not live past the age of 50, but you don't need to worry, your problem will definitely be solved before then.
Su Mengyao nodded. Honey, will this take a long time to solve? What about the problem of my difficulty getting pregnant?
Lin Chen said with a smile, honey, I don't think this is a disadvantage, it's an advantage.
We're not going to have a second child right away, so let's take our time.
If you miss the first shot, take 10 more.
If you miss 10, take 100 more. You'll never run out of bullets. Su Mengyao. She blushed and said, nonsense, I'm not talking to you anymore.
Go wake up Sisai, we don't have all day for her to sleep in. Lin Chen leaned over and kissed Lin Xiaoqian.
Wake up, Xiaoqian. Lin Xiaoqian opened her eyes dazedly. Dad, are we going out to play? I want to sleep a little longer.
Lin Chen scratched her little nose and said, little lazybones can't sleep anymore.
We're not going out to play today, we're going to fly home today. Don't you miss your toys and your little house? Lin Xiaoxi quickly got up, we're going home.
7 or 8 hours later, Lin Chen and the others returned home. On the return flight, Lin Xiaoxi folded paper airplanes again. With 86 hours of experience, he was not far from 100 hours of airplane building skills. By then, his airplane building skills would reach the Grandmaster level.
Drip. Lin Chen's phone rang. It was Tian Lang calling. Lin Chen went into the study and answered the phone.
Tian Lang said on the other end of the line, Mr. Lin, you have returned safely.
I need to discuss something with you. Is it about the Cherry Blossom organization? Lin Chen asked. Tian Lang said on the other end of the line, Mr. Lin, yes. We are ready to go at any time.
The Cherry Blossom Killer organization will probably give in and revoke the bounty on you, but there is also a small probability that they will become even more fierce out of anger.
If that happens.
Lin Chen's eyes flashed with brilliance as he said, Tian Lang, how can we live our lives worrying about this and that?
Just go and do them.
Brothers, I wish you all a happy new year and all the best.
Chapter 269, Attack the Cherry Blossom Organization. Tian Lang said, then we'll do it.
If they choose to unplug the network cable and fight head-on, you have to be careful.
Tian Lang, if they choose to do this, you will let me know the first time. Lin Chen said indifferently.
He had already investigated the Cherry Blossom organization clearly.
There was no need to tell Tian Lang this news for the time being.
If the Cherry Blossom organization unplugged the network cable and fought head-on, it would be fine to tell Tian Lang later.
Mr. Lin, I will let you know the first time there is something. Next time you go out, you'd better bring your gun. Tian Lang hung up after saying that. I always carry a gun.
I also carry hundreds of drones. Lin Chen muttered to himself. He pondered, he needs to get more weapons.
Just that small pistol is not good enough for many situations. But to get more weapons, he would have to go abroad.
With his current situation, if he goes abroad through normal channels, there might be forces that will shoot down the plane.
Go to Burma?
Lin Chen muttered to himself. If he went to Burma to get weapons, he wouldn't have to take a plane, and he could easily cross the border.
But he didn't really care for the weapons in Burma. Buy a batch of weapons anonymously and send them to Burma? This idea popped into Lin Chen's head. That was a good idea.
He could get himself an offshore secret account and use it to buy weapons and have them secretly sent to Burma.
He can then go to Myanmar and take everything with him. Knock, knock. A gentle knock sounded. The door to the room was pushed open and Lin Xiaoxi's little head peeked in. Dad, do you still have something to do? Lin Chen opened the door and picked Lin Xiaoxi up. Xiaoxi, did your mother teach you to knock when you come in? Dad, am I doing it right?
Lin Xiaoxi said sweetly. Lin Chen smiled and said, You did the right thing, Shishi.
You asked if I had anything to do. What did you want to do? Guess, Daddy.
Lin Xiaoqian's eyes glanced at the computer. Lin Chen scratched Lin Xiaoqian's little nose and said, You haven't played on the computer since you went out.
Do you want to play games? Daddy, you're amazing. You guessed it right away.
Lin Xiaoqian giggled.
Then let's play for a little while. Lin Chen turned on the computer and taught Lin Xiaoxi how to play.
5 minutes passed and his hacking skills began to improve. 20 minutes later, Lin Chen said, Cici, that's all for now.
We agreed not to play for long every day, right? Lin Xiaoxi nodded, Daddy, I miss Kiki and the others. Can I go and play with them? Of course you can.
You ask Mommy to take you to them, and Daddy will cook later. Lin Chen hugged Lin Xiaoxi and carried her out. Su Mengyao said, Honey, the batch of drones is already 80% complete. In 2 days at most, the batch of drones will be completely manufactured.
Lin Chen calculated the time. 2 more days is only 9 days.
It's a little earlier than the 10 days they previously estimated.
How come it's so fast?
Lin Chen said with some surprise.
Su Mengyao said, The enthusiasm of the employees has been mobilized.
I have told them that as long as the quality and quantity are guaranteed, everyone's daily bonus will not be less than 4,000. Now they don't need to be supervised at all. Anyone who dares to slack off will be scolded to death by the rest of the people around them. Lin Chen laughed. It's no wonder after making such a promise, with a minimum of 4,000 a day. I used to have such a bonus that the screws would smoke.
Will it be finished the day after tomorrow? Su Mengyao nodded, Well.
Lin Chen said sternly, The quality must be guaranteed. Although the big customers are generous, they are not stupid.
Honey, don't worry. Every machine will be inspected during quality control. Su Mengyao said.
Lin Chen nodded. She wants to find Nan Kiki to play, so you take her to play, and I'll call you when dinner is almost ready.
Okay. Su Mengyao took Lin Xiaoxi out of the house. Lin Chen dialed Prince Haier's phone number. On the other end of the line, Prince Haier said with some trepidation, Master Lin, it can't be bad news, can it?
The situation here is quite tense.
He really needs the 50,000 drones he bought from Lin Chen. Lin Chen smiled and said, Prince Haier, it's not bad news. The drones will be ready the day after tomorrow. Please arrange for 2 transport planes to come tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. One may not be able to fit them all. Prince Haier's eyes lit up with joy and said, That soon? Manufacturing still has to be done in your country, China.
It will be ready the day after tomorrow, a total of 6 days ahead of schedule. I will have to pay you $120 million in rush fees.
I will have someone transfer the money to you right away. Master Lin, do you need US dollars or RMB?
We have both.
Lin Chen said, Prince Haier, you don't need to give me the money yet. I will give you an overseas account in the future.
Just transfer the money to this account then.
Prince Haier said, Okay.
Master Lin, I can help you open an account and transfer the money into it first. It's your business to transfer it to another account in the future.
Since you want an overseas account, I'll give you US dollars. Lin Chen said, Okay.
Lin Chen planned to use this money to buy arms. Ordinary guns and ammunition don't cost much, and storing some explosives also doesn't cost much, but some things are very expensive, such as armed helicopters.
Tanks are not suitable for Lin Chen, they are bulky and not suitable for single-person operation. Things like armed helicopters are very useful for Lin Chen. However, the problem is how to hide this kind of heavy equipment. Ordinary guns and ammunition are not watched closely when bought, but things like armed helicopters are likely to be watched closely by the authorities. Never mind, I'll worry about it later.
Lin Chen muttered to himself, he was just making preparations.
A secret base in China.
Many network experts sat in a hall, each with a high-performance computer in front of them, and there was a supercomputer beneath this base.
If the battle was fierce, they could also call on the remaining supercomputers. Everyone prepared for the attack. Begin.
A middle-aged man in the base said in a deep voice. They were now preparing to attack the Cherry Blossom Organization. They had communicated with the Cherry Blossom Organization and asked them to stop the bounty on Lin Chen, but the Cherry Blossom Organization had refused.
This situation could only be dealt with by force. Let the Cherry Blossom Organization know how powerful they are.
Huge amounts of internet traffic poured into the dark web like a flood, and this internet traffic was precisely aimed at the Cherry Blossom Organization. The Cherry Blossom Organization is a first-class killer organization with over 3,000 registered killers worldwide. Every day, many killers take orders to assassinate people on the website.
The Cherry Blossom Organization takes a cut of every order. What's going on? Why can't I log in? Has it been attacked?
Which force is so bold as to attack the bloody cherry blossoms?
Many people quickly discovered the abnormality.
Under the powerful cyber attack, the official website of the Cherry Blossom Organization was paralyzed.
Yeah. Who is targeting us? The boss of the Cherry Blossom Organization was furious.
Their network experts resisted with all their strength, but they were losing ground. Boss, someone contacted us before and wanted us to withdraw the reward for Lin Chen. We refused, and they may have struck because of this.
Someone reported it.
The boss of the Cherry Blossom Organization said sternly, "Give me Lin Chen's information."
Happy New Year. Chapter 270, the Sakura Organization has bowed. Soon Lin Chen's information reached the hands of the Sakura Organization boss, Sato Taro. $500,000 in reward money, this is not particularly much.
Sato Taro frowned. A target of this level normally wouldn't cause much trouble.
There is something wrong with this Lin Chen.
An ordinary person is actually close to the Song family, and an ordinary person has even married the daughter of a wealthy family. Sato Taro said, "The people who attacked us may have been hired by the Song family. Contact the people who attacked us and say that we will suspend the reward for Lin Chen."
He created the Sakura Organization to make money. Fighting to the death with a powerful force goes against the original intention of making money.
He can have people unplug the internet to avoid cyber attacks, and then retaliate in real life.
But what next? Can the Hitman website still be opened after retaliation?
If they can't handle it for a long time, both the killer and the client may doubt their strength, and they may well choose other killer organizations.
Moreover, the force attacking them is very strong.
If they retaliate, the other party will retaliate if they figure out their bottom line.
Good boss.
Soon, their network experts sent a message. The middle-aged man organizing the attack on the Chinese side said, "Tell them that suspending the reward is unacceptable.
They will keep attacking us as long as we don't stop them completely." Sato Taro soon received a reply.
His face was gloomy. "Threaten them, if they continue, we will send a special killer to kill Lin Chen."
As a first-class killer organization, they can't be too scared. Lei Ju, what do you think?
The middle-aged man in the Chinese base frowned. His name was Lei Wendong, and he was in charge of this cyber army.
Continue. Lei Wendong went to his office.
He called Tian Lang to tell him the situation. "Tian Lang, if we provoke a force like the Blood Cherry Blossom, they may become even more ruthless, but if we go head-to-head with them, we may completely lose face.
Some of these assassins belong completely to their organization," Lei Wendong said. Tian Lang frowned on the other end of the phone.
He knew about Lin Chen's situation, and Lin Chen could not be allowed to have an accident. The higher-ups valued Lin Chen very highly, and if Lin Chen had an accident, he guessed that he would not be far from retirement.
"Director Lei, if you continue to attack, can you uncover the secrets of the Cherry Blossom Organization?" Tian Lang asked.
Lei Wendong, we have many experts, but they also have experts with very strong abilities. It is relatively difficult for us to invade without making a sound. Once they unplug their network cable, it will be useless no matter how strong we are. However, as long as they want to continue to make money, we will definitely be able to uncover them if we keep attacking."
Tian Lang was silent for a while and said, "You continue to attack first." After hanging up the phone, Tian Lang dialed Lin Chen's phone number.
Lin Chen was cooking.
After listening to Tian Lang, he said with a relaxed expression, "Tian Lang, didn't I say it already?
If they want to fight hard, we'll fight them to the end.
We can't be intimidated at a time like this. The side that gives in will lose the initiative."
Tian Lang was silent for a few seconds and said, Mr. Lin, I'm just afraid that they'll lose their minds when the excitement gets too much.
It's fine, let's fight them. Lin Chen said.
He had detailed information about the bosses of the Cherry Blossom organization and all the killers in the organization. These words were enough to make them regain their senses. With these chips in hand, he was not at all panicked.
Mr. Lin, then let's continue. Tian Lang quickly contacted Levin Dong and told them to continue.
The Cherry Blossom organization continued to encounter powerful cyber attacks, and the layers of defenses they had set up were constantly being breached.
Boss, the other party is too fierce. We are afraid that we cannot hold out for long. We either have to agree to their conditions or cut off the internet. Otherwise, our important information will be leaked. Sato Taro was comforted by the people around him. Sato Taro cursed in his heart and said, contact the other party. We promise to take down the reward for Lin Chen and will no longer take any tasks against him in the future. Yes. Soon, their people sent a message. The tidal wave of attacks quickly subsided, and Sato Taro let out a sigh of relief. Soon, their website returned to normal. Lin Chen's bounty was also removed.
Many forces were aware of the attack on Sakura Network, and the news quickly spread among some forces.
Lin Chen's name was known to many assassin organizations. Many assassin organizations added Lin Chen's name to their whitelist. They would not take orders for targets on the whitelist. Killing someone like this would not end well for them. Sakura Network is quite capable and can still hold its own, but those who are weaker might be completely overturned.
Although some assassin organizations have not added Lin Chen to their whitelists, if they offer a bounty on his head, the price will be much higher.
Drip. Lin Chen received another call from Tian Lang. Mr. Lin, good news.
The Cherry Blossom organization has bowed to the pressure and removed the bounty, and they have promised not to accept any more bounties on you.
Tian Lang said that the news has spread across the dark web, and it is estimated that the other organizations will also react. In the future, the chance of you encountering a bounty assassination will be greatly reduced. Lin Chen laughed, it seems that my life is worth more.
A mere $500,000 is a bit of an insult.
Tian Lang.
Mr. Lin, you still need to be careful. The bloody cherry blossoms may continue investigating you.
In addition, the person behind this bounty on your life is still unknown.
The person behind this may still take action.
Lin Chen's eyes flashed with brilliance.
He had to find this person behind this. There is a blood feud for killing him, and although the assassination failed, that doesn't matter at all.
Tian Lang, you have to help me find the person behind this. Lin Chen said. Tian Lang, Mr. Lin, don't worry, we will definitely investigate this illegal act by the other party.
It's just that if the other party doesn't take any further action, it won't be easy to find out who it is, and we need more time.
Okay. Lin Chen hung up after saying that.
20 minutes later, Su Mengyao and the others returned home.
Wow, it smells so good. Dad, what did you cook? Lin Xiaoxi ran to the kitchen and asked happily.
Lin Chen smiled and said, it's all your favorite dishes. Xiaoxi, go wash your hands quickly, dinner is almost ready.
Make sure you wash them really well.
Lin Xiaoxi nodded repeatedly, okay, Mom, let's go wash our hands together, dinner is almost ready. Soon, Su Mengyao and the others got to taste the food Lin Chen had cooked. They had not eaten for a few days and they missed it. In the evening, Lin Xiaoxi fell asleep, and Su Mengyao lay in bed. Lin Chen also got into the master bedroom after taking a shower.
Su Mengyao's pretty face turned slightly red as she said, Hubby, what do you want to do?
Lin Chen smiled and said, go to sleep.
I've decided that from now on, we'll sleep in the same bed at night.
He said this and embraced Su Mengyao in his arms. Su Mengyao said coyly, Hubby, you can sleep in this bed, but you sleep over there by Cici.
What if Cici rolls off the bed at night? Lin Chen glanced at the guardrail on Lin Xiaoxi's side. How could Cici roll off? Su Mengyao said weakly, Hubby, it's not a problem if you sleep over here, but your hands can't move around, okay? No. Chapter 271, How good is Lin Chen at math?
After sleeping with Su Mengyao for a while, Lin Chen got up and went home. There was some backlog of work that needed to be done urgently.
So many emails.
Lin Chen muttered to himself as he opened his secure email account. Several academicians and professors had sent him emails, and they had all sent more than one. When he went out on a trip, he was busy during the day and didn't have time, and at night Lin Chen didn't have time to dredge Su Mengyao's meridians. Academician Lin, we encountered a difficult problem before, a problem that has plagued us for a long time, and we have wasted a lot of the country's money.
Lin Chen clicked on an email sent by an academician. There were dozens of pages near the other person's email. Damn.
Lin Chen rubbed his forehead and went out for a while. He didn't know how long it would take to deal with the backlog of emails. And tomorrow they would have to go back to their hometowns.
He might as well go back with a laptop.
It took Lin Chen an hour to read through the dozens of pages of attachments. Academician Liang, the reason you have failed is because you used a wrong mathematical formula, as follows. Lin Chen spent quite some time replying. Previously, he could not solve this problem, but now his mathematics has reached legendary levels.
Academician Liang, you must keep this confidential.
If this gets out, other countries can avoid many detours. Lin Chen finally reminded him. Some academic knowledge is convenient to share, but some academic knowledge is better kept to yourself.
It took 2 hours to reply to an email. It's too difficult for me.
Lin Chen muttered to himself as he looked at the time. He had no idea that this project had been going on for 10 years, and had troubled Academician Liang and the others for a long time. The country had already spent tens of billions of dollars on this project. Although Academician Liang and the others had made other discoveries during the research process, the main project was still stuck there.
Academician Chen, I have a little opinion on this question of yours. Lin Chen answered another academician's question. After answering the 2 questions, it was already past 1 o'clock. Let's stop here for now.
Lin Chen muttered to himself. He went back to the bed and hugged Su Mengyao. Soon, a trace of his internal strength entered Su Mengyao body.
Su Mengyao still needed 10 more days for her meridians to be unblocked.
It was only 6 o'clock in the morning when Lin Chen finished. Su Mengyao had not yet woken up, and Lin Chen quickly fell asleep.
A top research base. Academician Liang Hang got up.
He was relatively old, and because he had things on his mind, he got up quite early every day.
Academician Liang, you have new email. Academician Liang's assistant reminded him. HM.
Liang Hang quickly washed up and turned on the computer.
There was email.
Every morning, he would go through his email and then immerse himself in a day of intense work.
HM?
Very quickly, Liang Hang's eyes revealed a look of surprise. He saw that Lin Chen had replied to one of his emails. He had sent this email a few days ago, but had never received a reply.
He didn't think that Academician Lin would know the answer either. Academician Lin's knowledge is very comprehensive, I don't know if he can help.
Liang Hang thought to himself. He carefully read Lin Chen's reply.
His expression was sometimes confused and sometimes enlightened. Liang Hang was very good at mathematics, but it was not easy to understand Lin Chen's answer. 2 hours later, Liang Hang's eyes revealed a look of excitement.
He didn't fully understand it, but from what he had already understood, he felt that Lin Chen's answer should be correct.
The conclusion given by the world's top mathematician, something that has already become a mathematical formula, is actually wrong. This joke is a bit too big.
Liang Hang muttered to himself, in just a few days, Academician Lin had actually found such an error.
Academician Lin's strength is even stronger than I expected.
If Academician Lin can come to our place, maybe we can get this project out in half a year. Soon Liang Hang contacted the higher-ups.
Minister Su, I have something important to report. Liang Hang said.
The person on the other end of the line was Su Shangyang.
He said, Academician Liang, you have important results early in the morning?
Liang Hang said, Minister Su, I'm applying for Academician Lin to come here. If he's here, our project might be able to be completed in 6 months. Su Shangyang's mind flashed the image of Lin Chen.
He knew that the Academician Lin that Liang Hang was talking about was Lin Chen.
He also knew that Lin Chen's security clearance was at the S level.
Academician Liang is in charge of core research projects that are only at the S level. Academician Liang, why did you suddenly mention this? Su Shangyang asked.
Liang Hang said with some excitement, Minister Su, I asked Academician Lin, and he found our problem.
The stumbling block that has plagued us for 10 years is gone. I believe we can solve the remaining problems. But if we had Academician Lin, it would have been even faster. Su Shangyang's spirits lifted, solved? Academician Liang, are you sure you've made a major breakthrough in your research?
Yes.
Minister Su, Academician Lin is extremely good at mathematics. The mathematical formula we used was wrong.
This mathematical formula was proven by top mathematicians.
Liang Hang said excitedly. Stop. Academician Liang, I don't understand this area.
Many top experts have been involved in your project, and none of them found the problem that Academician Lin found.
What level of mathematics is he? Su Xiangyang asked. Liang Hang replied, I emailed him and he replied in 5 days. He found the problem so quickly.
So his mathematics is among the best in the world.
Su Xiangyang thought of a problem.
Lin Chen has been traveling for his wedding photos in the past few days.
Lin Chen didn't take his laptop with him either. Academician Liang, please hold on.
Su Xiangyang hung up the phone and quickly looked it up.
He was checking the time when Lin Chen opened the email.
In the past, people who had sent Lin Chen emails could see this, but people whose identity reached the S level and sent emails could not see it.
From opening the email to replying to it, there were only 2 hours.
Su Xiangyang muttered to himself.
He called Academician Liang and said, Academician Liang, is it difficult to find the error in that mathematical formula?
Liang Hang, that formula has been proven for more than 10 years, and many mathematicians have studied and used it over the past decade, and none of them have found it to be wrong. To be honest, I have also doubted it before, and I have also asked top mathematicians in the country to verify it, but they have not found any problems.
Minister Su, can you please invite Academician Lin over?
With his help, our progress will be much faster.
Su Xiangyang helplessly said, Academician Liang, don't even think about it. I don't have the ability to invite him. If you have any questions, just email him. Liang Hang was astonished. Even Minister Su couldn't persuade him? Minister Su, even if Academician Lin doesn't come, can I meet him? Some issues can be explained more clearly if we talk face to face.
This. Su Xiangyang hesitated for a moment.
Academician Liang, I can't promise you that. I need to ask Academician Lin first.
Okay.
Liang Hang hung up the phone.
Su Xiangyang was just about to report the situation when Dongboard called him.
Another academician contacted Dongboard. After listening to Dongboard's report, Su Xiangyang was shocked. Lin Chen's 2 emails last night solved 2 major problems. Saving the country's money is secondary.
The main thing is to enable the rapid development of important national projects.
Lin Chen, how much more are you hiding?
Su Xiangyang muttered to himself. In the current situation, he felt that Lin Chen's security was not enough.
Chapter 272, Heading to Lin Chen's hometown. Dad, are we going to Grandma and Grandpa's house today? Lin Xiaoqian got up and looked forward to the trip.
Lin Chen scratched her little nose and laughed. Yeah, lazybones, get up quickly, we're going to Grandma and Grandpa's house first, and then we'll set off with them.
Dad, I'm not a lazybones. I got up in no time. Lin Xiaoqian quickly got up. Lin Xiaoxi had just finished washing up when the doorbell rang. Su Mengyao opened the door and was surprised to see Su Guofeng and Yang Qingyue outside. Grandparents. Lin Xiaoxi called joyfully.
Lin Chen said in surprise, Dad, Mom, why are you here?
Didn't we agree that we would come and pick you up together?
Yang Qingyue picked Lin Xiaoxi up in her arms. It's the same whether you come to us or we come to you.
We woke up early, so we just came to meet you. Cici, you've been gone for so long, did you miss Grandma? Lin Xiaoxi nodded repeatedly,
Grandma, I missed you, and I missed Grandpa too.
I've got a present for you.
Cici, what present is it?
Su Guofeng asked with a smile. Grandma, this way.
Lin Xiaoxi pointed with her little finger, and Yang Qingyue carried her to the second bedroom.
Su Guofeng saw a painting by Lin Xiaoxi. He was stunned. Yang Qingyue looked at the painting in amazement.
They both had a certain aesthetic ability, and they could tell that Lin Xiaoxi had painted very well. Not to mention a child of a few years old, even for adults, the vast majority of paintings could not reach this level.
With such colors, composition and creativity, could it really be painted by a child under 3 years old? Cici, did you paint this? Su Guofeng said in disbelief.
Lin Xiaoxi's previous paintings were not bad, but they were barely acceptable.
Now this is a big improvement.
Dad taught me, but I painted it myself. I also painted it for my grandparents, and Mom kept it.
Lin Xiaoxi said in a baby voice. Su Guofeng looked at Lin Chen, who had followed him.
Lin Chen said, it is indeed Cici who drew it. Cici's talent in drawing has improved.
She has suddenly understood things that she didn't understand before.
Her level has improved quite a bit.
Su Guofeng once again looked carefully at the painting.
He exclaimed, Cici still has a lot of deficiencies in terms of technique, but the creative composition and colors of this painting are very strong. Lin Chen nodded. Some things are a matter of talent, while others require a lot of time and effort to cultivate.
Cici, thank you for the painting you gave to Grandma, she really likes it.
Yang Qingyue said with a smile.
Su Guofeng pursed his lips. What do you mean, wife? What do you mean, a painting for you?
It's for the both of us, don't you think you can hog it all to yourself? Lin Xiaoqian giggled, Grandpa and Grandma, if you like it, I'll draw you another one in the future.
Su Mengyao, Sisai, let's go have breakfast. Dad, Mom, did you have breakfast before you came? Su Guofeng coughed lightly, we didn't have time. Yang Qingyue glanced at Su Guofeng and said, it wasn't that urgent. Your father just wanted to come over for breakfast.
Lin Chen smiled and said, Dad, Mom, you can come over for dinner anytime.
I have some dumplings from before, I'll make some for you. After dinner, Lin Chen and the others set off quickly. Grandparents, let's sing together.
Lin Xiaoxi said sweetly. She sat in the back with Su Guofeng and Yang Qingyue, while Lin Chen drove the car and Su Mengyao sat in the passenger seat.
Okay. Yang Qingyue smiled, and Xiaoxi, would you like to go first? Lin Xiaoxi quickly finished singing a song.
Yang Qingyue and Su Guofeng noticed that Lin Xiaoxi had gotten even better at singing in the short time they had not seen each other. They had sung many times during this trip to Yili, where the environment was beautiful, and Lin Chen had naturally taught Lin Xiaoxi.
Lin Chen's singing skills were not far from legendary. Cici sings really well. Cici, who's singing next? Yang Qingyue applauded.
Lin Xiaoxi said sweetly, it was Daddy who taught me.
Daddy, will you sing next, please?
Lin Chen said, Cici, Daddy has to concentrate on driving, so I won't sing.
How about I just listen to the song? Daddy, you can sing, Lin Xiaoxi said doubtfully.
Lin Chen had also sung while driving before, and singing had never affected his driving at all.
Su Mengyao laughed and said, Cici, your father is afraid that if he sings too well, your grandparents will be embarrassed to sing later, so your father will sing last. Lin Chen, you're also very good at singing?
Back in those days, I was the king of karaoke.
Su Guofeng asked curiously.
They really haven't heard Lin Chen sing before.
It's just so-so. Lin Chen laughed. Su Guofeng nodded, that's pretty good.
It seems that I, the king of karaoke, will have to step down and let someone else have the limelight.
Cici, Grandpa will sing second. Su Guofeng sang, and he sang quite well.
However, there was still a gap compared to professionals, and he was far behind the grandmaster level Lin Chen. It didn't take long for Yang Qingyue and Su Mengyao to finish singing as well.
Their level was quite good.
They were all accomplished in music.
Dad, it's your turn.
Lin Xiaoxi said sweetly. Lin Chen sang, and he sang a grassland song, as if the song had brought everyone to the vast grasslands. After he finished singing, Yang Qingyue praised, Lin Xiao, even if you go down the path of singing, you can also achieve great success.
Forget it.
Lin Chen laughed and said, Cici, it's your turn again. The five of them sang until they arrived at the airport without realizing it. After more than 2 hours, the plane landed at the airport in Lin Chen's hometown, the provincial capital. After getting off the plane, Lin Chen saw 2 cars.
One of them was the Korean that Su Mengyao used to drive, and the other was a business car belonging to Su Guofeng. Su Guofeng had someone check the cars in advance. Lin Chen, you drive the Korean.
I'll drive the business car.
This is the first time I'm going to your house, and there are some gifts for your parents inside.
Su Guofeng said with a smile.
Lin Chen said in surprise, Dad, how many gifts did you prepare? Isn't the trunk of this Korean enough? It's a bit insufficient. I prepared a little more for the first time. Let's go, it's still more than 2 hours to your home, right? Su Guofeng said. Lin Chen nodded, our home is a bit remote. I have talked to my parents, they are used to living in their hometown, they don't really want to move to the magic city to live. Su Guofeng, that's the place where they've lived their whole lives.
That land has raised them, and it's hard to leave your hometown.
This kind of feeling may be a little difficult for you young people to understand. Get in the car, let's go.
Soon Lin Chen and the others got in the car, and Yang Qingyue got in Su Guofeng's car, otherwise he would be pitifully alone.
At Lin Chen's house, Lin Chen's parents were looking forward to it. Su Mengyao dialed Lin Chen's mom Chen Mei's video. Mom, we've landed and just left the airport.
The navigation says it'll take a little over 2 hours to get here. Chen Mei beamed and said, Mengyao, you guys take it easy, safety is most important.
Where are your parents? Lin Xiaoxi sweetly said from the back seat. Grandma, Grandpa and Grandma are in the other car. I'm here. Chapter 273, Discussing Wedding Matters.
More than 2 hours later, Lin Chen and the others arrived in the village.
Son, what kind of car is that one in front of us? It looks quite imposing. Why don't you get that one instead of the new car when the time comes?
An elderly man in his 60s in the village said to his son.
His son said helplessly, Dad, what are you thinking? I couldn't even afford that car if I sold you. That's a Rolls-Royce Cullinan, a multi-million-dollar car. That expensive? How did such a car come to our village?
The old man was amazed. His son said enviously, I guess Lin Chen is back, and he's found a good wife.
The internet says that the Su family's assets now exceed 40 billion.
The Zus are rich, and his wife is pretty, so even if he marries into the family, it's still pretty good.
The old man sourly said, what's so good about marrying into the family?
Even if he doesn't marry into the family, with such a difference in social status, their family will be inferior to the Zus in the future.
I heard Lin Chen's daughter is almost 3 years old, right?
The child is so old, and neither she nor Lin Chen's wife has ever come. When Lin Chen and their car drove into the village, some people discussed it, and some people even gossiped.
Honey, how much longer? Su Mengyao asked with some nervousness.
She had met Lin Chen's parents long ago, but this time, they were going to Lin Chen's house, and the situation was a little different from before.
Soon.
The new house up ahead is it? Lin Chen said, and he saw a beautiful villa. This villa was built on the foundation of the old house. The villa was designed and built by a professional company, and the decoration was done by a well-known company in the industry contacted by Su Mengyao. The whole villa looked very good at least from the outside.
Crackling.
Lin Chen and his family drove the car to the front yard of the villa. Lin Hai, Lin Chen's father, lit the firecrackers, and Lin Xiaoxi looked outside curiously.
In-laws, mother-in-law, welcome. Lin Hai welcomed Su Guofeng and Yang Qingyue. Meng Yaoqian, you must be tired.
Chen Mei went to greet Lin Chen and the others in the car.
Mom. Grandma. Su Mengyao and Lin Xiaoxi called out.
Chen Mei answered with a smile, took Su Mengyao's hand, and Lin Chen carried Lin Xiaoxi out of the car.
Dad and Mom, this house looks pretty good.
Lin Chen said with a smile. The villa has 3 floors, each floor is about 200 square meters, quite imposing, and there is a large courtyard in front of the villa. The main part of the house cost millions, the hard decoration cost 1 or 2 million, and the soft decoration was done by a decoration company that Mengyao found. We don't know how much it cost.
Mengyao, we have to transfer this money to you. Chen Mei said.
Su Mengyao shook her head, Mom, no need.
Not much was spent on the soft furnishings, and since we're family, it's no big deal even if we spent a little. But.
Chen Mei hesitated a little. Next to her, Yang Qingyue smiled and said, In-law mother, as long as the 2 children get along well, nothing else matters.
That little money is just pocket change to them.
Chen Mei nodded, In-law mother, Mengyao, let's go inside and talk, it's hot outside. Soon Lin Chen and the others arrived inside the house.
The house was equipped with central air conditioning, and it was very cool inside.
Lin Chen scanned the room with his eyes. The interior decoration was not particularly high-end, but it was not low-end either. For such a large villa, the standard decoration cost would not be less than 5 million. The entire villa should cost more than 6 million. In the Magic City, 6 million would only buy a very ordinary house, but in the countryside, a villa built for 6 million would be very imposing.
Dad, I asked someone to receive the drone you gave us, right? Lin Chen asked.
Lin Hai, they were received early, on the 3rd floor. They can fly out on patrol by themselves, and they can also fly back to recharge. Dad, I want to see Grandpa and Grandma's house.
Lin Xiaoxian said in a baby voice. Lin Chen kissed Lin Xiaoxian. Okay, honey, do you want to come with us and take a look too? Su Mengyao nodded.
Lin Chen and the others started to visit everywhere. The villa was equipped with an elevator, and Lin Chen and Su Mengyao's not insignificant bedroom was located on the 3rd floor. There was also a terrace and a gazebo on the 3rd floor. It was nice to drink tea in there when the weather was nice. Dad, there's a noise in this room.
Is there a thief?
Lin Xiaoqian stared at the door of a room. Lin Chen opened the door, and a drone was flying back, landing precisely on the empty drone platform.
This platform could wirelessly charge the drone.
There are 9 such platforms in this room. Every once in a while, a drone will go out on patrol. Lin Hai and the others are still very safe when they are at home.
When they go out, someone from the National Security Bureau will secretly protect them. Shishi, let's go out.
Lin Chen took Lin Xiaoxi's hand and walked out, locking the door behind them.
The 3 of them went downstairs.
When Lin Hai and the others arrived outside, Su Guofeng opened the commercial vehicle that had pulled up.
It was full of all kinds of gifts.
Su Guofeng filled the trunk with high-end tobacco and alcohol, and the rest of the car was filled with tea, nutritional supplements, fine porcelain, and so on. People from the village had already come over, and when they saw the gifts taken out of the car, they were secretly amazed.
It wasn't that the Su family was rich, and the family was not a good match, and the Lin family would be lower when Lin Chen and Su Mengyao got together? It didn't look like they were lower. The Su family was overly polite. Uncle Lu, Auntie.
Lin Chen greeted them with a smile, and Su Mengyao followed suit.
Son, Mengyao's parents have brought so many gifts, look. Chen Mei said to Lin Chen.
Lin Chen smiled and said, Mom, you guys keep them. I'll just show my respect to your father-in-law and his family when the time comes.
He helped carry the many gifts into the house. The villagers came to join the fun and then dispersed, feeling pressured in the presence of a big boss like Su Guofeng. In-laws, how should we arrange the wedding? Su Guofeng asked.
Lin Hai, we haven't decided yet. Since you're all here today, let's discuss it.
What do you think, in-laws? Su Guofeng, I don't know what to do. Lin Chen, what do you think?
Lin Chen frowned slightly. It will take quite a while to get here. If guests from other places are to come to the wedding banquet, they will need to arrive in the county a day in advance.
Their safety is a big problem. I think we should have 2 weddings. We can have the wedding here, and then go to the city the next day to entertain some guests.
Yang Qingyue said, Lin, this way you and Meng Yao will be very tired, and you will have to rush back to the city early in the morning the next day.
I have an idea. Everyone looked at Yang Qingyue. Yang Qingyue said, the wedding will be held in your provincial capital.
This way, people from other places can take a plane and go to the wedding that day. The relatives and friends in the village will pick them up and drop them off in a chartered car. The wedding convoy will have plenty of time to go from the county seat to the provincial capital.
You can also come back after the wedding. Chen Mei nodded, mother-in-law, this is a good plan. Su Guofeng and Lin Hai also nodded.
Lin Chen laughed, this is really good.
Meng Yao, if it's held in the provincial capital, shall we have a Chinese-style wedding? Let's get a top wedding planning team to plan it. HM. Su Mengyao nodded. Time passed by minute, and Lin Chen and the others communicated in detail.
In the end, Su Guofeng said, Shaolin, have you thought about how to invite people and which guests to invite?
Lin Chen coughed lightly and said, should I send a friend request? Chapter 274, Everyone Wants an Invitation. Su Guofeng looked at Lin Chen speechlessly. Shaolin, do you think this is appropriate? Many people probably won't check their friend circles for 10 or 20 days. It's not formal at all to send a message in the circle of friends. Su Guofeng said.
Lin Hai, my dear, don't listen to his nonsense.
Even I, a peasant from the countryside, think it's inappropriate. I'll invite the relatives on this side of the family personally. As for the friends outside, you decide what to do.
Lin Chen sighed, it's really hard to invite people.
I'll be embarrassed if people don't come after I send out the invitations.
If I don't send them, some people might think I look down on them.
It's so hard for me. Just then, Lin Chen's phone rang. It was Prince Haile of the Camel Kingdom. Lin Chen answered in generic Arabic, Prince Haile, what is it?
Prince Haile said on the other end of the line, Master Lin, the 2 transport planes have already arrived in the Demon City, and you can load the drones onto the transport planes today.
Lin Chen, Prince Haile, is it that urgent?
The drones haven't been installed with the swarm control system yet. Once you get there, you can take them out and put them together in one place, and I'll install it remotely.
Prince Haile said, we are in a hurry. Master Lin, just take them out and put them together in one place?
That's right, it won't take long to install the swarm control system.
Lin Chen said. Higher, okay. Master Lin, I heard that you and Miss Su Mengyao are getting married soon? Please give me an invitation, I want to come to your wedding. No problem. After hanging up, Chen Mei asked, "Son, what kind of language is this?" "I can't understand a word." Lin Chen said, "Arabic." "The person who just called me is a prince from the Camel Kingdom. He wants to come to the wedding and asked me for an invitation." Ding! Lin Chen's phone rang again.
It was Yu Heian calling.
"Master Lin, I heard from Prince Hale that you are getting married. Please be sure to send me an invitation. I will definitely come back no matter where I am," Yu Heian said.
Lin Chen laughed lightly. "Mr. Yu, don't worry, I will send you an invitation. We will hold the wedding in our hometown, the provincial capital.
You can fly there from the mainland on that day."
Yu Heian said with a smile on the other end of the phone. "I can't go on the day of the wedding, I'll go a day early.
There's a lot to do for the wedding, and I might be able to help out a bit. Master Lin, you can just tell me what to do when the time comes."
"Lin Chen, you're too polite, Mr. Yu." Next, Lin Chen's phone rang one after the other, and Yu Heian and the others spread the news that Lin Chen was getting married. People who received the news and wanted to attend the wedding contacted them one after the other.
Many people avoided weddings.
Even if they know the news, they may not care if they haven't received an invitation, as their relationship with the person getting married is not very good. After all, you have to give a red envelope at a wedding. Lin Chen's wedding is different. Yu Heian and the others don't care about the red envelopes at all. They know that the big shots will definitely be there, so how can they miss the chance to get to know them? Besides, Lin Chen is a big shot himself.
It's well worth getting closer to Lin Chen. Drip! Just as he hangs up, another call comes in. Lin Chen looked at the caller ID and saw that it was from Li Lao. He quickly answered the call. "Hello, Li Lao."
Li Lao said on the other end of the line, "Lin, it's really hard to get through to you."
It took more than 10 minutes to get through.
Lin Chen said, "Li Lao, I've been getting calls non-stop."
"Lin, I have to criticize you. You're getting married and you're not inviting me? I heard the news from someone else." Li Lao pretended to be angry and said.
Lin Chen coughed lightly. "Old Li, you are a very important person, and you are busy with state affairs, so I don't want to disturb you." Old Li said with a faint anger, "I am at this age, semi-retired, so I should be able to take a day off to attend a wedding.
If I really have something to do, don't be offended."
"If I have something to do, I will also let my family attend your wedding." Lin Chen quickly said, "Old Li, then I will come to the imperial capital some other day and send you the invitation to the wedding."
"Okay, that's settled.
That's all for now, you probably have some calls." After saying that, Mr. Li quickly hung up the phone. As expected, Lin Chen's phone rang again. Mr. Zhang and the others also learned the news, and they were asking their secretaries or family members to call Lin Chen's phone.
Lin Chen's phone finally stopped ringing at dinner time. "Son, how is it?"
Lin Hai asked as Lin Chen came downstairs. "Lin Chen, you don't need to worry too much about inviting guests.
Most people have already called to remind me to send out the invitations.
Those who haven't called yet will probably get in touch later.
A lot of people already know the news.
They will continue to spread the news, and the rest who don't know will find out soon enough." Lin Hai said with some worry, "Son, there will be a lot of guests, many of them are important people, how will you entertain them?" Lin Chen laughed and said, "Dad, don't worry, I'll find a professional wedding planning team, they will take care of it.
You just need to cooperate with them." Lin Hai nodded. Su Guofeng laughed and said, "In-laws, let's eat first.
It's rare for us to get together like this, so let's have a few drinks later." Lin Chen made the call from the study upstairs. There were quite a few relatives at home, and he greeted them one by one.
The relatives got dinner ready together, and everyone sat down. Su Guofeng felt the enthusiasm of the crowd.
He could hardly stand after finishing the meal.
"Dear in-laws, we'll talk tomorrow. We're leaving now."
After Su Guofeng finished speaking, Yang Qingyue helped him to the car.
"Dad, Mom, I'll see my father-in-law to the car.
I'll be back later, and tomorrow we'll go to the provincial capital to look at hotels together,"
Lin Chen said.
They had to decide which hotel to hold the wedding at. Yang Qingyue and Su Mengyao each drove a car, and Lin Chen and the others went to the large flat they had bought in the county town.
Ding!
Lin Chen was taking a short break before leaving when his phone rang again.
It was Jiang Xuesong. "Lin Shaolin, am I disturbing you? I heard you're getting married, I'll come for dinner." Lin Chen answered the phone. Jiang Xuesong said.
Lin Chen hurriedly said, "Jiang Lao, your health."
Zhang Xuesan laughed and said, "My health is still okay, I can come to the wedding without any problems." Zhang Laodi and the others also know the news, they also want to come. Lin Chen, Mr. Jiang, if your health is fine, I'll invite you to come to the wedding.
If your health is not very good, don't force yourself.
Okay.
From this phone call onwards, Lin Chen's phone started ringing non-stop again, and it was only an hour later that his phone finally quieted down.
Lin Chen was ready to go back. "Honey, have you drunk alcohol? Can you go back?" Su Mengyao asked with concern.
Don't worry, I used internal energy to refine it, and now there is no alcohol in my body. Even if the traffic police check, there will be no problem. In fact, Lin Chen had let the system space absorb it. Lin Chen did not do this when he was drinking, he let the system space absorb it when he arrived in the county. Honey, Mom said she has already fallen asleep. You don't need to hurry when driving back, just go slowly.
Su Mengyao hugged Lin Chen and said. Lin Xiaochen did not follow them to the county. Su Guofeng and the others could not stay there, but Lin Xiaochen could. Drip. Su Mengyao phone suddenly rang.
It was Xin Cheng calling.
Su Mengyao answered, and Xin Cheng quickly said, "Mengyao, have you seen the news online? Someone has revealed that Lin Chen is Lin Yu." Chapter 275, Lin Chen is Lin Yu. Su Mengyao was stunned. Has the news spread?
Well, it has already started spreading widely.
I just checked, and many anchors are talking about it. Xin Cheng said. Qingqing, is everything going well on your end? Su Mengyao asked.
Xin, it went very well, but this job requires a lot of traveling, so it's not so easy to go see Shishi anymore.
Su Mengyao pursed her lips. Are you going to see Shishi or just eat her food?
Well, both.
Xin Cheng giggled.
After they had chatted for a while, Su Mengyao hung up the phone, and Lin Chen had already found a lot of information online.
How is it, honey?
Su Mengyao looked at Lin Chen and asked. Lin Chen frowned and said, "It feels like someone did this on purpose, trying to get more people to target me and make me unlucky. The Wu family, the Zhao family, Song Shirkan, and others are all possibilities." For the previous assassination attempt, Lin Chen felt that the Wu and Zhao families were unlikely to have done it, even if Wu Yangchang would go to prison for 10 years.
They have a lot of money and there is no need to do this.
If this kind of assassination is discovered, it will be a disaster.
Exposing him as Lin Yu, this will be fine. Even if he is found out, there will be no detention for this kind of thing. Honey, why are they doing this? Su Mengyao asked.
Lin Chen frowned. This may be a case of killing with praise.
If my level is not so strong, it doesn't matter. But my fairy tale has spread all over the world.
It has affected the interests of many people around the world, and it will even slowly affect the culture of some countries.
In comparison, calligraphy is fine.
Su Mengyao's face changed slightly. If someone is trying to kill you with praise, does the other party want to use the hands of other countries to target you?
Honey, there will definitely be people who approach you to ask, so will you deny that you are Lin Yu at that time?
Lin Chen said, it has already been exposed, and what the other party thinks is actually no longer important.
It's not good to deny it.
Perhaps the other party already has evidence in their hands, and if I deny it, I'll slap my own face. Besides, this kind of thing will be exposed sooner or later. Su Mengyao looked at Lin Chen with concern.
Honey, what should we do? Will it have a bad influence on you and Cici?
Lin Chen smiled. Don't worry too much. It's good that it's only just been exposed after being hidden for so long.
My strength is already much stronger than before. Su Mengyao nodded lightly. Honey, don't drive yourself home, find a designated driver.
Although there is no alcohol in your body, this matter will expose your whereabouts when it is exposed. It's not good to let people speculate that you were driving drunk.
Lin Chen nodded. He dialed Lu Feng's phone number. Lu Feng said on the other end of the line, Mr. Lin, you want to ask about the online exposure that you are Lin Yu, right? Our people are investigating, and there are no results yet.
At this point, it is judged that it may have been done deliberately.
If it wasn't done deliberately, the national security would have already found out. Lin Chen, Lu Feng, how many people are protecting me? Can one of you come out and help me drive back to the village? Currently, there are 3 teams near you. 2 of them are specifically protecting you. Mr. Lin, Xiao Jun is a good driver. He can drive you back. Lu Feng replied.
Lin Chen went downstairs, and Shang Xiaojun was waiting for him by the car.
Mr. Lin.
Chang Xiaojun said respectfully. They have told them more than once that they must absolutely ensure Lin Chen's safety and that there can be no accidents.
Thank you.
Lin Chen smiled. The two men got into the car, and Chang Xiaojun started the engine and set off. Two other cars followed Lin Chen and his entourage, one in front of the other.
Somewhere in the imperial capital, several top mathematics experts had been gathered here.
Their task was to verify whether Lin Chen's mathematical formula was correct. Lin Chen's formula had overturned the previous formula, which had been proven by top international mathematicians.
Phew! One of them let out a sigh of relief. He looked at the others and said, "Gentlemen, I think academician Lin's formula is correct.
The formula we used before was definitely flawed." Another expert said, "The original formula wasn't completely wrong, but it was half true and half false, which made it more likely to mislead us."
Academician Lin's formula is correct. In the end, the top mathematicians unanimously agreed. Their calculations showed that Lin Chen was correct.
The news quickly reached the top.
Su Xianyang didn't have to wait long to get the news. He was amazed.
Lin Chen had given the calculation process, and several top mathematical experts had spent a lot of time before thoroughly proving that Lin Chen was right.
So what level of mathematics is Lin Chen at now? Mathematics is the foundation of all science. A top mathematician is extremely important to the country. Drip. Su Xianyang dialed Tian Lang's phone. "Su department, we haven't found out yet," Tian Lang said on the other end of the phone. Su Xianyang said in surprise, "What have you found out?" Tian Lang paused. "Su, what do you want to ask?" "Tell me first, what have you found out?" "Tian Lang, someone has revealed that Lin Chen is Lin Yu."
"We are investigating, but we haven't found out who revealed it."
"This person is likely to have done it deliberately." Su Xianyang frowned. "Is that so?" "With this revelation, Lin Chen is placed under the spotlight. Increase efforts to find out who revealed it." Tian Lang coughed lightly. "Su, there is a small problem. Even if we find out, what do we do? We can't arrest the other party because of this, can we?"
"Su Xianyang, we really can't cause trouble because of this, but the other party may not be clean in other aspects.
Just punish them severely according to the law." Tian Lang's face revealed a faint smile. "I understand." "Su, what is the matter that you called me so late?" "Su Xianyang, what level of mathematics has Lin Chen reached?" "You can ask him directly about this when the time comes.
The other countries may have deliberately dug a pit for us in this area. One pit may affect many people, and it may waste a lot of the country's money and human resources. We still need Lin Chen to help more."
Tian Lang, "Su, you can contact Mr. Lin directly."
Su Xianyang said, "You have more contact with him, and he trusts you more, so you contact him."
"Okay." After hanging up the phone, Tian Lang looked at the time. It was already 10 o'clock at night.
Lin Chen should still be awake at this hour, but it wasn't a good time to disturb him.
Lin Chen arrived home.
Lin Hai was still awake, while Chan Mei had already put Lin Xiaoxi to bed.
"Son, it's been revealed online that you are Lin Yu,"
Lin Hai said to Lin Chen.
"Lin Chen, I already know."
"Dad, this is different from last time. Last time, I just had a small fire because I hugged Meng Yao and the others, but this time it could be a big fire."
"There may be people who often disturb you," Lin Hai said. "Let them disturb.
Although it is a bit troublesome, it is also a matter that will bring glory to the family.
Knowing this, no one will say that you are climbing the social ladder." "Son, what impact will this exposure have on you?"
Lin Chen laughed and said, "Dad, don't worry, I am not the same as I used to be, so this exposure will not be a big problem."
Chapter 276, Lin Yu is my pen name.
Going upstairs to the study, Lin Chen took out his laptop and started working.
"Academician Chang, I don't know much about this question you asked, so here's a little shallow insight for you to consider." Lin Chen replied to the email.
Su Mengyao was not there, so he didn't have to unblock her meridians tonight, and could answer more questions. Answering these emails was not his job, but Lin Chen knew that these were related to the development of the country, and naturally he hoped that the country would develop better and better.
"Professor Yi, there are problems with your topic." Lin Chen didn't close his computer until 4 or 5 in the morning.
He had a strong constitution, but it was best to get 2 or 3 hours of sleep every night. That way, his energy would remain at a high level.
Creak.
Lin Chen and his friends were still eating breakfast when a car pulled up outside and 2 people got out, one of them holding a mobile phone and broadcasting live. Friends, we have finally arrived at Lin Chen's house. This is a newly built villa in Lin Chen's family, and the answer to whether Lin Chen is Lin Yu will soon be revealed. Friends who are walking by, please click to follow first. A young man said excitedly into the camera. He saw the number of people in his live broadcast room rising rapidly. Lin Chen is Lin Yu. The topic was all the rage last night. They drove to the village entrance before dawn and waited for 2 hours before they came over. Friends, I'm very nervous right now. Lin Yu is my idol. If Lin Chen is Lin Yu, then I really don't know what to say. Lin Chen is so young, could he really be Lin Yu? The young man in front of the camera was indeed a little nervous. On the one hand, Lin Yu was indeed his idol. On the other hand, the number of people in the live broadcast room had now exceeded 100,000. I don't really believe that Lin Yu is Lin Chen. There have been rumors about Lin Chen's academic performance in the past. He was just average in junior high school, and college, so there's no way he could be Lin Yu. I admire Lin Yu's physical strength, but I don't believe he's Lin Chen either. Many comments kept popping up in the live broadcast room. The vast majority of people didn't believe it. Lin Chen had a small celebrity moment in the past when his academic qualifications were exposed, and according to the exposed information, Lin Chen was a nobody in the past. Drip. Lin Chen's phone rang. It was Lu Feng calling, and Lin Chen answered the phone. Mr. Lin, some internet anchors are coming over. There is no problem with their identity, and they are your fans. Do you want us to get rid of them? Lu Feng asked. They had already secretly checked out the two people. No need. I'll talk to them. Lin Chen hung up the phone, quickly finished his breakfast, and went outside. Lin Xiaoqian and the others did not come out. Lin Gu, hello. My name is Yang Ping. Can I ask you a few questions? The young man on the live broadcast said to Lin Chen, while the other young man pointed his phone at Lin Chen, and Lin Chen's figure appeared in the live broadcast room. It's brother physical strength. Why do I feel that brother physical strength is even more handsome? Is it my illusion, or did the host secretly turn on the beauty function? Where is she? She is very cute, I like her. More pop-up comments appeared in the live broadcast room. Hello. Hello, friends in the live broadcast room. Lin Chen greeted with a smile. Yang Ping let out a sigh of relief. Lin Chen is quite amiable. He asked, Lin Gu, last night someone on the internet revealed that you are Lin Yu. Are you aware of this? Lin Chen nodded. I saw the news. Yang Ping said, Lin Gu, I am a fan of the master Lin Yu. My live broadcast channel now has more than 100,000 people. Can you tell us if you are Lin Yu? Everyone is very concerned about this issue. Lin Chen smiled faintly and said, Lin Yu is my pen name. Yang Ping looked at Lin Chen in a daze. Many people watching the live broadcast were stunned, and there were far fewer comments, but soon the comments grew wildly. Did I hear that right? Lin Chen is really Lin Yu? The world's top fairy tale master, a master of calligraphy respected by a group of calligraphy masters, is actually the physical strength brother. Upstairs, is it appropriate for you to keep calling him physical strength brother? It should be Master Lin. The heat in the live broadcast room increased crazily. The Douyin management also noticed this, and they quickly gave traffic, and more people entered the live broadcast room. Lin Gu, you just said that you are Master Lin Yu Lin? Yang Ping's voice trembled. Lin Chen laughed lightly, I don't dare to be a master. But Lin Yu is me, and I did write those fairy tales. TongXIN.com should have an official announcement at that time. A pop-up message appeared in the live broadcast room. I am Chen Xinhuan, editor-in-chief of TongXIN.com, and Lin Chen is Lin Yu. Chen Xinhuan was actually watching the live broadcast at this moment. He was the one who posted this message. He quickly asked someone to post an announcement on the official website to confirm the news. Yang Ping was very excited. Brother Lin, no, Master Lin. I am your biggest fan. I have every one of your books, and I have read every one of your fairy tales. You write so well. Master Lin, why did you hide your identity? Lin Chen said, I need a quiet environment to write, and my daughter is still young, so I don't want to be disturbed. Yang Ping said, Master Lin, perhaps it is because you don't seek fame and fortune that you are able to create such good stories. Your fairy tales are now bestsellers around the world. Lin Chen laughed and said, I'm glad people like them. I hope people pay attention to my work, not to me. Yang Ping said, Master Lin, let me answer one last question for you.
Master Lin, can I save this question for the friends in the live broadcast room?
Sure. Yang Ping turned to the camera and said, Friends, ask your questions quickly.
I will ask Master Lin the most frequently asked questions later.
There were already 200,000 to 300,000 people in the live broadcast room at the moment. A large number of comments were popping up like crazy. After a while, Yang Ping said, Master Lin, there is a question that everyone has been asking a lot, and many people are asking when you plan to marry Su Mengyao Su. Su Mengyao was also watching the live broadcast at the moment. She saw that many people in the live broadcast room were showing their love crazily. Many women said they would give Lin Chen a monkey or something. Lin Chen laughed and said, We have already gotten our marriage certificate a long time ago, and it won't be long before Mengyao and I will hold a wedding.
I hope that everyone can give us their blessings then. Master Lin, thank you.
Yang Ping said gratefully. This wave of attention had increased his number of followers significantly. Lin Chen said, You're welcome. I don't want to be disturbed, so I hope that the reporters and self-media bloggers will stop looking for me. I also hope that Douyin will stop giving this topic traffic.
Yang Ping, Master Lin, I won't bother you again, goodbye.
Soon, Yang Ping and the others got into their car and left. However, the people in his live broadcast room did not leave for a while. They were still gathered in the live broadcast room enthusiastically discussing it. Lin Hai and the others finished breakfast.
Lin Chen and the others also left soon. If they delayed any longer, maybe the rest of the people would come over.
Before long, someone said in Yang Ping's live broadcast room, Extra.
Extra. TongXIN.com has issued an announcement, Lin Yu is Lin Chen. I also saw the announcement. Brother physical strength is awesome,
said another person. Dear brothers and sisters who like this, please give it a 5-star rating, thank you.
Chapter 277, the news is blowing up the entire network.
Who said before that brother physical strength was a high flyer? He's awesome at basketball, his fairy tales are bestsellers all over the world, his calligraphy is recognized as the best, and his physical fitness is so good. In the case of Master Lin, it's the Su family that's high flying, the Su family just has some money, and Master Lin will go down in history.
Master Lin is being overly humble.
The news spread, and many people who hadn't watched the live broadcast also discussed it. Lin Yu has not many fans, but Lin Yu is different.
Lin Yu has a huge following across the internet.
Lin Yu's fairy tales are not just popular with children, many adults like them too. Many people thought Lin Yu was a middle-aged man in his 40s or even older. After all, Lin Yu's calligraphy was so good, they didn't expect Lin Yu to be so young.
Related news was flying all over the internet. Meng Yao, what are you looking at? Yang Qingyue asked.
She got up and saw Su Mengyao on the sofa brushing her phone, and after washing up Su Mengyao was still brushing her phone there. Su Mengyao looked at Yang Qingyue and said, Mom, Lin Chen, he is Lin Yu.
This news has been exposed, and 20 minutes ago Lin Chen admitted it live. Yang Qingyue was stunned. The news has been exposed? Isn't this news flying all over the place? Su Guofeng walked out and asked.
Su Mengyao nodded, many people watched the live broadcast, and this news has now exploded all over the platform.
Several hot searches on Weibo are about Lin Chen.
Speaking of this, Su Mengyao shrugged. Many women said they wanted to give him children.
Yang Qingyue comforted, they're just saying that casually. Su Guofeng, Mengyao, these people on the internet are just saying that casually, but you should be prepared that there may be outstanding women appearing by his side. Some of them may be much wealthier and have a higher status than you. Su Mengyao looked a little dazed. Dad, what should I do?
Su Guofeng, just be yourself, don't be jealous, trust Lin Chen, and believe in your relationship.
Some women may deliberately drive a wedge between you. Yang Qingyue took Su Mengyao's hand and said, Mengyao, Lin Chen is not the kind of person who is fickle.
If he were, he would have already revealed his ability to attract attention.
If you trust him, your relationship will be fine.
If you are suspicious and doubt this and doubt that, it will only cause problems in your relationship.
Su Mengyao, of course I don't doubt him.
What has been exposed is only a small part of what Lin Chen can do. It's just that the news has been exposed, and I'm a bit overwhelmed.
Su Guofeng said, just be calm. Paper cannot hold back fire, and this exposure was bound to happen sooner or later. It's already pretty good that it's only just come to light now. Your relationship is much better now than it was before. Su Mengyao nodded gently. Su Guofeng, the company's stock is likely to hit the limit today or tomorrow, so you should pay attention to that. Su Mengyao said in surprise, Dad, will it affect this? Su Guofeng said, Of course it will.
With Lin Chen's abilities, he will have a very strong network of connections.
You are husband and wife, and his network of connections will affect you.
When many companies reach a certain level of development, there will be some mysterious forces interfering, and we will not be immune.
With Lin Chen's fame, the company's popularity, image, reputation, etc. will all be greatly enhanced next. These enhancements will be reflected in the stock price. Su Mengyao nodded.
Su Guofeng, you give Lin Chen a call and tell him not to come here, we'll wait at the highway exit.
Don't expose this place for the time being.
Su Mengyao quickly called Lin Chen, and 20 minutes later they met at the highway exit.
Mom! Lin Xiaoxi called cheerfully. Dad, Mom, which car should I go to? Su Mengyao asked Su Guofeng and Yang Qingyue.
Yang Qingyue smiled and said, Go ahead, you are in the Magic City, you usually see us a lot, now that you are back, you should spend more time with Lin Chen's parents.
Okay. Su Mengyao got into the car driven by Lin Chen.
The two cars drove back on the highway towards the provincial capital.
We need to do some research on which hotel to hold the wedding at.
Honey, the news about you being Lin Yu has been exposed, and there is a lot of buzz about you online right now.
Su Mengyao said.
Lin Chen chuckled, It won't be long before the buzz about me dies down online.
Su Mengyao, I'm afraid it won't be that easy. Not to mention the fact that there are several trending searches about you on Weibo. You may have underestimated the influence of Lin Yu. Lin Chen glanced at Su Mengyao. Honey, I haven't underestimated anything.
You're the one who underestimated the influence of the relevant departments. He had told Tian Lang that he hoped to suppress the heat. There was no problem with the news coming out. But he didn't want many reporters and self-media bloggers to excessively disturb their lives for the sake of traffic.
Drip.
It didn't take long before Su Mengyao received a message.
It was from Shuncheng. Mengyao, is there a problem?
I just checked Weibo, and all the hot searches for Lin Chen are gone.
Su Mengyao quickly took a look.
Sure enough, all the hot searches for Lin Chen were gone.
She checked Douyin again. The related hot searches on Douyin were also gone.
She scrolled through the videos, but after a while, she didn't find any more news about Lin Chen.
This situation was undoubtedly very abnormal.
Honey, the popularity has really dropped.
Su Mengyao said.
Lin Chen smiled, It's normal for it to drop.
Some platforms can suppress the popularity by spending money, not to mention that the relevant departments will directly give them orders.
Next, those self-media bloggers, even if they surround our live broadcast platform, will not give them traffic.
Their influence on us will be greatly reduced.
Lin Hai and Chen may let out a sigh of relief. They were happy that their son was doing well.
But if many people were to gather outside their home every day, it would be a nuisance. Su Mengyao, honey, it's best to reduce their traffic. The platform will also reduce the traffic of their other videos. That way, they won't be able to steal your traffic. Lin Chen's eyes lit up. Honey, that's a good idea.
This will basically eliminate traffic theft, and in the future, the people who approach me will most likely be real fans.
I'll talk to Tian Lang about it later. In the back row, Lin Xiaoqian said in a baby voice, Mom and Dad, what are you talking about? I don't understand. Lin Chen smiled and said, Cici, what do you think we're doing? Grandpa and Grandma can't sing.
Lin Xiaoqian said sweetly, Dad, if Grandpa and Grandma can't sing, we can sing for them.
I can also tell stories. Shenmei patted Lin Xiaoxi's little head. Sisai, why don't you sing for us, okay? MMM. Lin Xiaoxi nodded.
Her tender singing soon filled the carriage.
Lin Chen's hometown.
One reporter and self-media blogger after another rushed over. The area around Lin Chen's hometown was full of parked cars. And as time passed, many more people rushed over.
Lin Chen is Lin Yu, and this hot topic is much bigger than before. Chapter 278, Acquiring a Private Manor. What's going on? Why is the traffic so low? Yes, the platform is not even giving traffic. The hot searches for Master Lin on several platforms are gone. Could it be that what he said was a lie? But that's not right. TongXIN.com must know Lin Yu's real identity. Bloggers on this side of Lin Chen's hometown were discussing it. There were people in their live broadcast room, but it was not at all the grand occasion as when Yang Ping was broadcasting live before. With Lin Yu's current popularity, it shouldn't be like this. Damn, I've come all this way, but if it's this kind of popularity, then what's the point?
One blogger cursed in his heart. He glanced around and took out a drone from the car.
Friends, this is a drone. Do you want to see what Lin Chen's house looks like now? The second floor window is open, and I can control it to fly in.
If you want to see it, you can enter my live broadcast room. My live broadcast room is.
The blogger said, holding the drone aloft. The limited audience in the rest of the broadcast rooms was sucked in.
The blogger's face broke into a smile. The number of people in his broadcast room exceeded 3,000, and there were even fewer people in the broadcast rooms of the rest of the people broadcasting nearby.
Newcomer Bowsy, please click to follow. Any big brothers want to send some gifts? As long as there are big brothers sending gifts, I'll arrange for the drone to go in right away.
The broadcaster yelled out somewhat smugly. His live broadcast room became a little more popular, and the other broadcasters around him looked at him angrily.
Some of them actually had drones with them, but they didn't dare to do anything like this. They might be arrested and detained.
Soon someone in the live broadcast room sent gifts.
Thank you, Big Brother.
Hold on, Big Brothers, I'll fly in and take a look right away, the anchor said happily.
He controlled the drone to approach the second floor window.
Just as the drone was about to enter, the anchorman froze, and he lost control of the drone. His drone slowly descended. There were people from the state security nearby guarding it secretly, and they also called in plainclothes policemen to help maintain order.
Shit, what's going on?
The anchorman cursed in his heart. 2 plainclothes policemen arrived in front of him. They showed their credentials, and one of the plainclothes policemen said, "You are suspected of espionage.
Please come with us." What? How am I suspected of espionage?
The anchorman's face changed drastically.
I just wanted to control the drone to take a look inside this house.
The other policeman said, "As Mr. Lin, your actions are considered espionage, and we are detaining you according to the law.
Please come with us." After saying this, the policeman took out the handcuffs. Click.
The anchorman was directly put in the silver bracelet.
The remaining anchors around them were dumbfounded.
Although they felt that it was not good for the drone to go in and spy, they never imagined that this would actually constitute the crime of espionage. If they were really convicted of espionage, they would be sentenced to at least 3 years in prison. A prompt also popped up in the live broadcast room at this time.
This live broadcast room and account will be permanently banned. Everyone, please leave in an orderly manner.
One of the 2 policemen said in a deep voice. The anchors gathered here left one after another. There was no traffic, only risks, and there was no need to stay here any longer. Lin Chen and the others arrived in the provincial capital.
Lin Chen was not satisfied with the few hotels he visited.
These hotels were not luxurious, and they were good for a Western-style wedding, but not for a Chinese-style wedding.
Drip. Lin Chen's phone suddenly rang.
It was Yi Hong calling.
Master Lin, I heard from a friend that you are looking for a hotel in Inchang to hold your wedding? Lin Chen answered the phone and Yi Hong asked.
Yes, do you have a hotel business? Yi Hong, Master Lin, I don't run a hotel, but I have a private manor there, a more classical one.
I'm not sure if it meets your requirements.
Shall I send you some photos? Lin Chen said, sure, send me some photos. Soon Yi Hong sent over 10 photos, and Lin Chen's eyes lit up.
Yi Hong's private manor was very large, much larger than the villa of the Su family.
The style of the manor had some modern elements, but the overall style of the entire manor was more classical.
Drip. Lin Chen dialed Yi Hong's phone number. Mr. Yi, you have a nice private manor.
Yi Hong said over the phone, I like this style. I spent a lot of money building this private manor, but before it was finished, my wife had a health problem.
We started to travel all over the world. Now the manor is finished, but my wife's health, sigh.
Lin Chen said, Mr. Yi, I have my medical license, and I am quite confident about your wife's illness.
I'll take a look at her then. Yi Hong's eyes lit up, and he said joyfully, Master Lin, have you improved your medical skills recently? Well. Yi Hong, Master Lin, do you like this private manor? If you like it, I'll just give it to you. Mr. Yi, you don't have to give it to me. But I hope to borrow it for a wedding in a while. Lin Chen said.
Yi Hong hurriedly said, Master Lin, I'll send you the address.
You go over and take a look first.
My wife and I will take a plane back immediately, and we'll have dinner together.
Okay. An hour later, Lin Chen and the others arrived at the manor. There was a lake in front of the entire manor, with mountains in the back. It covered a large area, and Yi Hong had bought a commercial plot of land to build this. Su Guofeng estimated that the total cost of this private manor, including the land and everything else, was no less than 2 small targets. If it were in the Magic City, the total value of such a private manor would be estimated to be heading towards 10 small targets. Wife, what do you think? Lin Chen asked Su Mengyao. Su Mengyao nodded. This place is pretty good. I don't really like purely ancient architecture, but this manor, with its blend of modern and classical styles, I think is very good. Dad, I like it too, hee hee. Lin Xiaoxi said sweetly. Lin Chen and the others found Su Guofeng and the others, who were touring the rest of the place. Su Guofeng and the others had no objections either. This private manor was unanimously approved by them. Lin Chen laughed and said, then the wedding will be here. At that time, let the planning team hurry over and set it up. It is enough to set up a Western-style wedding a day in advance, but a Chinese-style wedding requires quite a lot of preparations. A lot of the old stuff is not bad, but it is too expensive. An ordinary person cannot afford a traditional Chinese wedding. In the evening, Yi Hong and the others hurried back. Yi Hong's wife had cancer, and it was originally expected that she would die in 3 to 5 months, or 1 to 2 years at the most. Lin Chen had given her a prescription. Now her mental state looked quite good. Master Lin, how is it? Have you seen this manor? Yi Hong asked after greeting Lin Chen's parents and others. Lin Chen smiled and said, this manor is indeed quite good. After it was built, why didn't you guys come and live here yourselves? Yi Hong, this was built last year and has been airing out. With my wife in this condition, I just wanted to show her around and never lived here. Master Lin, I'll give you this manor. Lin Chen shook his head. Mr. Yi, we can just borrow it. Yi Hong's wife persuaded, Master Lin, you got married here, and this is where you have your lifetime of memories. Do you want someone else to live here in the future? The help you have given us is far more than just that money. Yi Hong, Master Lin, you must accept it. This is a small token of our appreciation. Lin Chen nodded after considering for a while. Okay. Mr. Yi, I won't be polite with you anymore. Your wife's illness will be taken care of by me. Chapter 279, Treating Mrs. Yi. Yi Hong was extremely excited and said, Master Lin, can my wife's illness really be completely cured? Lin Chen laughed, no problem. Did you hear that, wife? Your illness can be cured, and you can recover completely. Yi Hong took his wife's hand and said, I heard it. Master Lin, thank you. Yi Hong's wife said joyfully. Lin Chen waved his hand, you're welcome. You should thank me for giving me such a big manor. Mrs. Yi, let me take your pulse first. Okay. Yi Hong's wife nodded. A few minutes passed and Lin Chen finished taking her pulse. Master Lin, what do you think? Yi Hong asked with some nervousness. Lin Chen said before the pulse taking that it could be cured, but at the end of the pulse taking, it can no longer be cured. Lin Chen said, the situation is slightly worse than before, but it is still within the normal range. Your wife's illness can be treated. The treatment cycle will take about 6 months. Then it will take about a year to recover and rest. Yi Hong, Master Lin, will the cancer cells decrease within 6 months? Lin Chen nodded. They will decrease. But a reduction in cancer cells does not mean that the body will get better during this period of time. There may be some symptoms at the beginning of treatment. Yi Hong nodded, I understand. This is equivalent to going to war, and the entire body becomes a huge battlefield. The start of war will definitely cause damage to the environment. It's just a matter of time before recovery. Lin Chen smiled, that's the way it is. But don't worry, this treatment is much better than chemotherapy. There will be some symptoms, but they won't be particularly serious. Master Lin, I believe in you. Mrs. Yi Hong said. Lin Chen is capable of doing it himself, and Su Mengyao is rich, so Lin Chen has no need to lie to them about this manner. Mrs. Yi, I'll give you a different prescription. You should take the medicine according to the new prescription in the future. Also, you have to go to my place for acupuncture once a month. Lin Chen said. Okay. Yi Hong's wife nodded. Yi Hong said with a smile, Master Lin, the food should be ready. Let's go and get your father and the others to eat. I need to have a few drinks with them. Lin Chen treated Yi Hong's wife, and Lin Hai and the others walked away.
Soon Lin Chen found Su Mengyao and the others. The group arrived at a large hotel nearby. After a good meal, Lin Chen and the others checked into the hotel. Naturally, the Lin Chen family of 3 had one room. Su Guofeng and Yang Qingyue stayed across the hall from Lin Chen and the others. "Husband, are you really sure about Mrs. Ye's illness?" "It's cancer," Su Mengyao asked with some concern. Lin Chen smiled and said, "Cancer is not an incurable disease. A small amount of cancer cells can sometimes be found in the human body. The question is whether the immune system can defeat them. I have the means to inhibit the production of cancer cells while also strengthening the body's immune system." Su Mengyao's eyes lit up. "Husband, can you benefit the whole world?" Lin Chen shook his head. "No, I can't. My methods are based on my own abilities, and each patient's situation is different, so they are not universally applicable. The same medicine may gradually improve the condition of one patient, but kill another." His ancient medical skills are only at the Grandmaster level, and even legendary Lin Chen probably does not have a cure. "It is possible to alleviate the condition. Mom, I want to go to sleep." Lin Xiaoxi yawned. Su Mengyao hurriedly said, "Cici, Mom will give you a bath first, and then Dad will tell you a story and put you to sleep." Lin Xiaoqian nodded. Half an hour later, Lin Xiaoqian fell asleep. Su Mengyao came out of the shower, and Lin Chen asked, "Wife, have all the drones been loaded onto the plane?" Su Mengyao, "No one has told me yet, I'll call and ask." Su Mengyao quickly dialed the number and asked, and the person on the other end of the line said, "President, the loading is being done as quickly as possible, and it is expected to be finished in another half an hour." "Okay. Have the bonuses been distributed yet?" Su Mengyao asked. The person on the other end of the line said, "President, this has not been distributed yet, and we have not yet decided how to distribute it." Su Mengyao said, "The management can get a little more, but the upper management's daily bonus cannot exceed 10,000, and the daily bonus for the grassroots employees cannot be less than 4,000. Hurry up and give me the bonus plan, I will personally review it, and the bonuses must be distributed by noon tomorrow." The person on the other end of the line asked in surprise, "President, will it be distributed tomorrow? Won't it be distributed together with this month's salary?" "The bonus will be distributed tomorrow," Su Mengyao said. "Okay, President." Su Mengyao hung up the phone, and Lin Chen said, "Wife, how much do you think the grassroots employees will get if we distribute it this way?" Su Mengyao thought for a while and said, "The management will get at most 10,000, and the grassroots employees will naturally get more. The grassroots employees should get 4,500 per day in bonuses. The bonuses for the 9 days will be about 40,000 yuan." Lin Chen nodded. "This bonus is still quite considerable. The employees deserve it for working overtime so hard. Honey, I'll take a shower first. I'll unblock your meridians later," Lin Chen said with a smile. Su Mengyao's face turned slightly red. Lin Chen's hands were not so honest when unblocking the meridians. In the blink of an eye, it was the next day. Lin Chen's parents returned home, and Su Guofeng and Yang Qingyue went to the county town, where they wanted to decorate the house. Su Mengyao would marry from there. "Master Lin, this manor will belong to you in the future," Yi Hong said with a smile. He and Lin Chen changed the ownership of the manor. This process would not have been so quick, but Lin Chen and his team were given the green light the whole way, and the process was super quick. "Thank you, Mr. Yi. I will treat your wife today," Lin Chen said with a smile. They returned to the manor. Yi Hong's wife said with some embarrassment, "Master Lin, do I need to take off my clothes for the acupuncture?" Lin Chen shook his head and said, "No need. Mrs. Yi, you lie on your side. You need silver needles in front and behind." "Okay." Yi Hong's wife let out a sigh of relief. It's good that she doesn't need to take off her clothes. It's okay for people who aren't familiar with each other to treat each other without clothes, but they are already quite familiar with each other, and she would feel very embarrassed if she took off her clothes. Next to her, Yi Hong also let out a sigh of relief. Yi Hong's wife lay on her side. It was summer, and the clothes she was wearing were relatively thin. Lin Chen took action, and silver needles fell rapidly, some of which were stuck very deeply. Yi Hong was watching in horror, but Yi Hong's wife didn't feel anything. The pain from the silver needles was very low. "Master Lin, can you identify the acupoints like this?" Yi Hong asked. Most of the silver needles were stuck through the clothes. Lin Chen, it's difficult for ordinary doctors, but for me, identifying acupoints through clothing is not a difficult task. After he finished speaking, he went to Mrs. Yi Hong. Soon, many acupuncture points in front of and behind her body were stuck with silver needles. Lin Chen kept flicking some of the silver needles. When he flicked them, he sent in a trace of internal strength.
He was now activating and enhancing the body's immune system.